What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below. And of course, as we get rolling here tonight, guys, there's some people, some love and appreciation that has to go out to the people helping to make MCF happen here on the daily and the nightly. So thank you very much to our current sponsor of the week. Give a big mahalo to MyCowboysFamily.
Yeah, big love the big Mark H representing it, only from Hawaii. Appreciate you. And don't forget, Jason Renfro also on the board with 58 points on the stream, boss. He got that Mozzie Smith going down right there. Jason Renfro in control of that side of the board. He's been rocking that 5 in a row on the gifting membership board, one of our prestigious boards here of representation. And Jason Renfro, though, last 5 weeks on it, he got it. Before that, 3 months of skeptical fan domination. But now we got the Lunatic taking over. So much love to the Lunatic as he's representing the king of the gifting membership side of things. The leader right now, the big leader is the Don, Ron the Don Smith, who has 5 on it. Nobody else on that board. So right now, 5 gifted memberships is the lead for this week. When you look at the overall board, you know who's coming for that sponsor of the week. You know why he's here, baby. Snug X. Woo. Currently still in first place. And, when it comes to the Cash App, you don't see anybody up there. There is a leader this week, and her name is Gloria. Gloria in the house. Woo. Much love to Gloria.
Appreciate you, of course.
Yes. Repping that star over everything right here in My Cowboys Family. But we have a current tie, guys. A tie for the king, the crown this week. The next person that drops it between Skeptical Fan, or you know why he's here, Mr. Snug X, gets the crown the rest of the week. But right now it's a split thing. Snug X had it 4 in a row. He's kind of got it 4.5, right? He's got that, split crown with Skeptical Fan. So we'll see if anybody takes it over for 2 straight weeks. Someone pulls away. We'll see what happens. Right now, it's a tie. Anyway, whatever is dropped by Skeptical or Snug in the Cash App, that would then count for this week, of course, as well, and also give them the crownage. So appreciate both you guys on that side. Again, Much love to Gloria for the leader right now of this week, trying to get that crown. So that's the shout-outs there. Got to give the shout-outs to the star level members and the over everything level members. Much love to LC Lincoln Kane from Australia. Great stream last night on his channel. A lot of fun over there. I took a little bit of recuperation for myself here to get back on track for tonight. But much love to LC and the rest of the star level members. We'll shout them out in a minute. But first, another star level member, Skeptical Fan, dropping the first kickoff drop of the night. Ooh, super chat style.
Skeptical. He said, did I miss anything?
Just a couple of things.
All right, well,
but not for the show, not for the stream.
Side of things, no, perfect timing. You are just here perfectly on time because we're kicking things off. And, of course,
we're still trying to get it.
Shout out to you on your Cash App tied currently. Thank you for the $2.43 holler to kick things off.
Skeptical. And, yes, we are just kicking off that. We're still trying to get away to get earlier. I mean, we're really trying. It's been a rough, busy week. Of course, new job for the wife, new stuff,
we're
adjusting.
Still very much the early days of that transition. So, of course, it all happens.
So we're trying to trickle
right when the
earlier.
Season starts off too. So just like our Cowboys, we're still working out a few kinks, right?
We're still working on adjustments, but we'll get there. Getting out there, trying to get about 45 minutes earlier, 30 minutes earlier on the regular. So hey, it is what it is. It's got life and family and work all around. So we get out here when we can. Guys, thank you and much love to Skeptical Fan with the first drop of the night, taking Jason Renfro to 56. Dante Fowler points. Ooh. Now I do want to say much love to the star level membership. Again, LC. We also got Marissa Sparkle, also got Mary Alvarez, also got Andy Potched, also got Ron the Don Smith, Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Dwayne Broussard, the top dog. Much love to everybody in that top shelf star level membership, and also much love to the over everything love, the only person, the first person in it, and it's Snug X. Woo. Much love to Snug X. He'll be on the show, I think one of these Saturdays coming up. Not sure about this one, but maybe the next following Saturday or two, we'll see one of these next Saturdays with the man Snug X on the show here live and in full effect. So that'll be a lot of fun. Now, baby, there's of course the memberships you can jump into. We just talked about that. There's the the super chats. Just a Skeptical Fan drop that. There's the memberships you can join into, but you can also gift memberships. There's a thanks button. there's also 4 other ways in the Cash App side of things. You're going for that Cash App. Crown Glory's in first place. These are the ways you can jump in there, because we had people drop Streamlabs this week, like Cat52, who's on the board. Ooh. We got people that dropped, PayPal drops this week. We have people that, like Gloria in first place. We got people that dropped Cash Apps this week. So, yeah, I kind of covered a lot of those things. Maybe what are the 4 other ways they can drop the love outside of the Super Chat, membership, thanks button side of things?
Of course, you have the Cash App money sign MyCowboysFamily, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and of course, last but not least, that Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a Super Chat.
Yeah, guys. So, any ways to help, we put you on that board and we shout you out, read your comments. You know what we do here. You want to stop us from doing our thing in the sense of like, we're talking about something, you want to talk about something else. That's a way to kind of catch our attention. So, thank you guys on that side of things. Little side note. Much love to that Star Level membership. One more time, we just had our first raffle. Jason Renfro, the big winner. If you're in a Star Level or over everything level, you get a chance to win a Sewn and Stitch jersey. You know who's repping that. Cowboys Mosh. Sub it up to his channel. Get your jersey from him. But you can win your Star Level over everything level jersey if you're in any of those 2 upper level membership size of things. And yeah, sewn and stitched. A lot of different styles. A whole lot of different players. Yeah, you know how it is, guys. We rep them here every night. I was
going to say, you've seen us rep ours, all sorts of old school, new players, all of it.
So yeah, hit that. If you guys hit the exclamation point member or gifts, you can get into the membership in those ways. Check it out. Much love to everybody in the house with us, rocking it. And baby, it's time to the intro, the shout outs, the promos, everything is done. Let's get rolling to football and the family. Who's in the house tonight ready to talk some Dallas Cowboy football tonight?
I gotta give the love to Asmodeus in the house. What's up? Yeah, we're definitely going to be touching on the absolute implosion. I mean, damn, I knew the Vikings weren't worth much, but holy cannoli. Frank Moyer, what's up? Much love. Even Frank, the Eagles fan, said that was kind of an ugly game to watch.
Yeah.
So,
and it wasn't really pretty last week either for the Eagles, kind of collapsing a little bit against the Patriots.
Even I admit winning isn't always pretty, but obviously there's a few implications on all the craziness that happened tonight for outside of just the NFC East, like the NFC, of course, which is always Cowboy adjacent. So
by the way,
we'll get to
also,
that.
Frank, we're going to try to get that.
Yeah, no, I already told him in the chat, yes, and thank you so much. And
yes,
guys, can't wait for this game day reaction live stream. Yeah. We're going to have something pretty fun happening throughout, so make sure to kind of hop in, check it out.
Quarter by quarter? I don't know. We'll see.
Raul, hello and hi. Much love to you. We have Monroe Gadet in the house saying Jerry's looking at Zack with that side eye. So,
we'll see.
Yeah, again, I have to admit, Zach Wilson does not catch my attention, but hey,
Zach Wilson or Zach Martin?
So, true, he did say Zach, so I guess you didn't imply which Zach. I just assumed Zach Wilson, right? Thomas Garrett, the Superior Garrett, who, by the way, is going to be out there representing our Cowboys
in that game against the Jets.
Opening game, at least in AT&T Stadium.
Yep.
So, David Lara, much love to you always. Go Cowboys, but yeah, those mother-plucking Eagles.
Now,
let me see. James Payne in the house. Much love to you. Of course, skeptical fan always. Staying skeptical. El Cool, hello and hi. Daniel Barry, much love. Steven Stinson. Oh, yeah. They're not trying to pick up what we're putting down, right? Jason Renfro representing in the house. Q Ball, what's up? Much love. Bruce got the Toxic Juice. Hello and hi. We have Thomas Garrett, of course, the Superior Garrett. Let me see who else is here. Tommy Montoya, much love to you, of course. Did I shout out the Top Dog doing Broussard?
I think you
Let's
did.
Shout out the Top Dog doing Broussard again, just in case. C. Bass representing. Much love to you as well. Scorpio, hello and hi. Hopefully you're having a great night as well. Take it easy. Freedom first. Hey, you're first today. Good for you, man. I think that's everyone here so far. So, baby, obviously I'll be chitting and chatting in the chat.
Yes.
Let me hand things off over to you because today we have a larger volume than usual of Cowboy adjacent news.
Yeah, so buckle up, family. Buckle up here on my Cowboys family. Now, today there was the Eagles, of course, played at home against the Minnesota Vikings, a poor Viking team. I don't think they were that good, and the Eagles didn't play that great last week. And the Eagles kind of took control-ish in this game and let the Vikings back in, at the end. But the reality is the Vikings let the Eagles in this game. DeAndre Swift, though, I will say he had a very good game, a career game, powering the Eagles to this win. Jalen Hurts ran for a pair of 1-yard touchdown runs, threw a 63-yard pass to Devontae Smith. DeAndre Swift ran for 175 yards and a touchdown. And, of course, the Eagles held off I think 4 turnovers by the Vikings today. And they won barely won, 34-28. Where's that Eagle defense? I don't know. Thursday night game, of course, Amazon Prime. Now, Jalen Hurts, MVP runner-up, shook off a very bad game to just kind of inch the Eagles enough to get the win in this game.
But that doesn't make national headlines.
No,
the way that Dak throwing an interception in
never.
training camp makes national headlines.
And
but,
again, it's Devontae Smith. I think they made it like Hurts to Smith made it 27-7 in that third quarter, but yet they still came back. Right, Hurts ended up finishing 18 for 23 and 193 yards, but a lot of that happened on one play. That 54-yard catch. Right, he ended up. DeAndre Smith finished with 4 catches and 131 yards. So again, most of those yards came. I mean, you stop Swift and you stop DeAndre Smith, and this Eagle team don't score any points. So Eagle fans themselves were booing the Eagles in the first half when
first quarter.
Yeah, but it was like at halftime though, 13-6, I think it was, and they were like, or 13, I don't know, 13-6, 13-7. It was 13-7, I think, and they were just like, I mean, the Vikings screwed themselves there on the 1 yard line. When they fumbled the ball in the back of the end zone, touched back, and the Eagles ended up scoring the last minute of that drive of that half. And making it, instead of being 14-10 Minnesota at halftime, it became 13-7 Eagles at halftime. So and even with all that, the Eagle fans still booed them as they were walking up the field, including Jalen Hurts and that big new contract. So listen, they're a fragile team. They're ready to crack. I know the media is not going to give them shit because they know Hurts made it to the Super Bowl, so he gets a pass on any bad plays, it seems like. That's what happens with good quarterbacks. So quarterbacks that make it far with their team, they don't get as much attention. But we also know that star brings all the attention. And listen, whether it's their own Cowboy fan base that hates Dak Prescott, a small portion of them, or the media that just loves to make a name and get clicks off of Dak Prescott, you'll never hear Josh Allen for Buffalo, the Eagles, with Hurts. And these quarterbacks get more negative press. They might get a little negative press. They ain't going to get negative press like Dak Prescott. Them's facts. So, and it's unfortunate fact, but that's the way it is. Look, the Vikings, they blitzed and they pressured Jalen Hurts early in the game, and he cannot break open those plays as he did last season. Just an overview on the Eagles. Just going to say this. Like, we got to see how this Eagle team continues to maybe get better and evolve, but they don't scare anybody right now. And right now, if we played them, I think we'd demolish this team. I think we would stop. If we could, again, this is why I say it's so important the Cowboys have to prove to me that we can stop the damn run.
I agree.
And that's the biggest question. Like, that first drive against the Giants was horrible for the Cowboys stopping the run. So and again, the rest of the game was blowout. So there was no chance for them to really reestablish the run, even though they tried to. But at that point, it didn't matter as much. They get a 10-yard gain or 8-yard gain. We're still up 26-0, whatever it may have been.
Exactly.
So I want to see, and they ran for some yardage on us, 108 yards, 109 yards. I just want to see the Cowboys stop the run game consistently. And I'm going to tell you one thing. This week should be some test there, some kind of a test with Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall as the running backs. Now, their offensive line, not as good. Pass protection, but run blocking a little better. So we got to stop that run. This week is going to be a good test for us. We talked about it yesterday. Today we're going to talk about it on the other side of the ball. And, how are we going to attack their very, very good defense? So we'll talk about that and more here tonight on My Cowboys Family. But anyways, I don't want to spend my time on the dirty Eagles. I mean, we all know. I don't know if the Eagle fans know, but 5 is always greater than 1, right? Nick Sirianni?
Always.
Cry, Eagles, cry. You know how we feel about these green pieces of shit. We love some of the family members here, of course, that are Eagle fans, happen to pick the wrong team. But
that's in spite of your choice in the
exactly, F the Eagles. Anyways, enough of that. NFL news out there. Again, I guess I'll let everybody speak on a quick little note. If anybody has, I know everybody want to kind of talk about the Eagles and how they did and the quarterback situation, but I just think it's just we just gotta let it go.
Yeah, Bruce got
it's
the
always
text
gonna happen.
Said I knew not to trust primetime Kirk Cousins. Yeah, he like one of the QBs with
he hasn't won yet. I don't
records,
think.
like,
if he
ever?
has, if he won, I think it was last year the first time.
El Cool said crybaby Eagles.
Yep.
Honestly, again, I can kind of understand it because even though they've obviously just won 2 games, no one's, at least if you're an Eagle fan, you're not feeling maybe as confident as you were about the way that you won those games, right? I can understand that. I can relate to that, but I also relish in that pain. Yes. So I'm going to try to hold off a little bit there and just continue to see how their season develops. But, that's the problem with making it all the way to the top. There's only one direction to go, and it's usually not up. So, yeah, Eagles are having a rough time. Heck, pretty much all the top teams.
And they're 2-0. That's what's great about it, yeah.
Exactly. So, but there's no distinction when it comes to records, right? Uncle said Eagles ready to roll over. Bruce also saying, something about Thursday games, they still just kind of
Yeah,
suck.
missed something, yeah.
So, and I'm saying, to me, it's a short week turnaround time. You're never going to get the type of fun football that you get after a whole week's rest, you know? Mm-hmm. Frank Moyer throwing out there as our resident Eagle fan, right? He said, only thing I really didn't like besides the missed defensive PI was that pick that Hurts threw. It was not smart to throw into double coverage.
Yeah, I mean, that third down and long, it reminded me of the Cowboys with Kellen Moore.
I was just about to say.
When you realize that, what was good with the Eagles? I mean, they ran and they ran and they ran. They had one drive they threw like 3 times out of 16 plays. And that's what they did to them. The Vikings didn't know how to stop the run today. Eagles had a damn good offensive line. So you got to remember that's still in play. And it was run, not Hurts today.
Huge factor.
It's not Hurts. It was Swift with number 0 running around. So again, you got to remember you got to keep tabs on him. But the thing is, and I think that's kind of like when you have first down, whatever happens, second down, whatever happens. It's third and 16 for Hurts. He's trying to go for that interception for that first down marker, and the defense can lay back and kind of wait for you to make the mistake, and that's what Jalen Hurts did. Made a bad play there, which you've seen Dak be forced to do, completing it like 75% of the time in those really tough plays. But that's the thing. Do you want to force your quarterback to do that consistently? That's what Kellen Moore did to Dak, and that's what Jalen Hurts did in that interception. So,
what John Montgomery did?
I know he's on that board, moving on up. What did the man say? Dropping that $1-2 holler. Jason Renfro to Sam Williams, 54 points in that turf toe. What did John have to say?
Eagles look weak. What's up, guys? And yeah, I was
John.
kind of saying it earlier. If I was an Eagle fan, thank goodness I'm not, but I obviously do like the 2 wins. I don't like the way that we got there. So there's definitely, you know what I mean? Like I just said, if I was an Eagle fan, obviously I'm a fan of the 2 wins. I don't like the way we got there. So, I think most teams would look at that and say, all right, week 1, week 2, short turnaround. Like, there's a lot of reasons you could say. But as someone who I think you could say knows the Eagles relatively well, you can see a few of the bumps and the bruises and the cracks starting to show. But you got to give credit to the Eagles front office. They've done a very good job of managing these types of situations before in the last few years. So I'm not counting the Eagles out. I think that they're still an extremely competitive team, and if the rest of the NFC keeps sucking as bad as it is, the Eagles can continue to also not look so great, and they will still keep doing what they've done these last 2 weeks.
They'll still sneak by wins, but they ain't going to win 40-0 like we did.
Exactly. So it's a little bit, I don't know, frustrating, because I have to admit, I don't know, with the Jets losing Aaron Rodgers, I'm not saying I want to face every tough team. I want some competition, though. Right, Jason Renfro? We want a little juice here with that Go Cowboys. Thank you so much. Appreciate the drop.
Dollar holler drop. By the way, John Montgomery, who dropped a little bit, he's still in 5th place. Not far behind Marissa Sparkle there in 4th place. And then you had Jason Renfro still sitting there in 9th place, creeping up. And who else dropped today? Oh, yeah, Skeptical Fan. I'm the board, baby, for the first time this week for old Skeptical Fan. Much love to him. And Go Cowboys. I'm updating the board now, baby.
Yep. And Kenzie Vans, I do get it. And again, I always like to joke and say, okay, well, as much as we want to put some qualifiers or quantifiers, the record is the record. So they could have beaten the shittiest teams in the NFL, but they're still 2-0. They still have to, it's...
Yeah, we got to match them. We got to win our game and keep moving up with them.
Exactly. So on certain levels, of course, okay, yeah, sure, we're better, we're this and we're that, but... no one's talking about theoreticals or whatever. We need to have a winning record. We need to do better than the Eagles. We need to try to secure that, number 1 seed.
Yeah, look at the home field throughout the playoffs. That's the goal here. But anyways, as I finish with the Eagle game stuff, Eagles will be, again, they were without their running back Kenneth Gainwell, had a rib injury. James Bradbury at cornerback had a concussion. Their safety Reed Blankenship was out as well. Fletcher Cox, I think he missed this game with a rib injury. So I'm just saying, again, they're down some starters in this game. They were down some starters in this game and still overcame it.
Bumps and bruises.
But I'm just trying to say, it's not excuses. I'm just saying, the Eagles.
That's why I said
we'll see how it.
Yeah, does a good job managing their situation.
Agree.
Because most teams losing that many players, it's going to be looking even rougher.
Yeah, but again, they had a good little lead and let them back in. It's not the same Eagle team as last year.
No,
I'm gonna leave it like that. It's definitely not that Super Bowl run team they had last year, in my humble opinion.
You know the best part?
Definitely not on defense either.
We're also not the same team we were last year.
You're goddamn right. We're definitely better. Much love to the man, Marco Seppian.
A big mahalo to Mark.
Much love to the man, Mark. He's coming in there, kicking in the door.
You know what he had to say?
I know right now he's right now officially in 2nd place behind Snug X. What did Mark have to say?
how's that Philly defensive line looking with the 2 sick rookies? I don't know why peeps are so worried about wide receiver. Isn't Gallup supposed to be at 100%? And Tolbert's doing great.
Yep. I mean, I'm not worried. Who's worried about wide receiver? I mean, I know some fans
that
might be.
Because remember, Cooks with the knee thing. He's having, I think I saw today, it's like a bit of an MCL situation. So I'm just saying that, first of all, Cooks made it very clear. He's like, I'm playing. You're going to have to, tear me off the field or break my leg off or some crap like that. So I'm fully expecting him to play. We kind of all assume that these other guys will just end up getting more snaps, and that the reason we saw so little of most of our offense was a weather/extreme defensive special teams lead. We just did not have to show out and show up. CeeDee Lamb said it last night. So real quick, John Montgomery also coming through. He said, hold up with a
big drop.
$10 holler.
He made a jump, baby, not just over Marissa, but he also made a jump over Ron the Don Smith in a tie. Dead heat with Marco Seppian. Wow. John Montgomery entering the big leagues over here. What did he say with that big old Cooper Rush $10 holler?
Zach Wilson is going to be running for his life.
Agreed.
People think the Giants suck, but forget that they actually won a playoff game and they got better in the offseason. Yep. So go Cowboys.
That's the claim that got better. I think we definitely made that look worse.
Yeah.
We made them look worse in reality. We'll see if the Giants are really as bad as they went down a little bit, or they actually go up and are going to be better. We'll see. Either way, you can't deny with the Cowboys. When we get a little lead on you, the game is over. I don't care if you're Patrick Mahomes. I don't care who the hell you are out there. The Niners, the Eagles. I don't care. I'm not scared. The Bills. Keep coming. I don't care. Give me more teams. Doesn't matter which team is out there. If we're up by 10, we won the game, in my opinion. Because you try to run, you try to throw, you're done. You're done. And I think we got better, a lot better on defense, and we were great already on defense. So, anyways, much love, John Montgomery. Yes, I do agree that Zach Wilson. We talked about it yesterday. We're going to talk about the other side of the ball tonight. We're going to talk about the Cowboys, offense versus their defense. But last night we talked a lot in detail about our ability to not just attack Zach Wilson in the pass game. We got to stop the run. That's number one. But once we stop the run and they got to throw. Remember, Zach Wilson is mobile. He can run out of there. He ain't no Aaron Rodgers in the sense of the speed he has to burst out of that pocket. So containment is big on him. Yeah. And, we're fast as he is. So if he tries to run and buck the pocket, we're going to be right there. The guys like Micah are different than they had over there with the Bills.
And very quickly addressing the other point by Mark earlier.
Yes.
As far as the Philly D-line, honestly,
they were banged
I don't
up
know if I want to use the Minnesota Vikings offensive line as the measure for the Eagles D-line, considering their current situation. So as of now, let's just say, yes, they are good, but they definitely, again, do not look the way they did last year.
That's what I think he's trying to say. Something's wrong with their defensive line because they didn't. Fletcher Cox not there. Mm-hmm. Again, you got guys that are, maybe a little aging, like Graham, I think about 14 years. Isn't he the guy 14 years over there on their defensive line? I'm just saying, he had some good plays, but the first time they mentioned him was in the fourth quarter. So the Eagles are not the team they were last year on the defensive line and on the offense. I think the teams are figuring them out a little bit more. I think the Eagles don't want to use Jalen Hurts as much in the run game. A 1-yard sneak is one thing, but to run them off often, they're just using DeAndre Swift in that. Key now for the Cowboys, stop the run. We stop that run. How is any team going to beat us? We'll leave it at that. Now,
very difficult.
Very difficult. So now NFL news. Finishing with the Eagle game, the Tottenham Hotspur and the NFL announced an expansion of their partnership through the 2029 and 2030 NFL season. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium will officially be the home of the NFL in the United Kingdom.
Okay,
it's official now, locked in with the NFL. Minimum of 2 NFL games a year will continue to be played there. So there you go, NFL expanding worldwide.
It makes sense, though, especially on the European side of things, to just have, one specific set location where, look, you want to come to NFL, you want to come here in Europe,
this is where it is. Well,
spot.
Hotspur Tottenham Stadium, or Tottenham Hotspur Stadium,
God.
I don't know.
Honestly, it literally sounds like some made-up Hogwarts shit,
and
I'm a Harry Potter fan, so I can say that.
It feels like tea and crumpets or something. Anyways, Steelers, their perennial Pro Bowler, defensive lineman Cam Hayward, having surgery to repair his groin. And we're going to talk about the groin today, about Zach Martin, but
we got a lot of groins on our mind today, huh?
Cam Hayward from the Steelers is having surgery, so he's expected to miss about 8 weeks of the season, but he's going to be back a little bit past midway of the season. Suffered the injury last Sunday here against the Niners. The Broncos, their pass rusher, another defensive lineman, Frank Clark, injured his hip in practice yesterday. Did not practice today. He's expected to miss a couple of weeks. A lot of guys getting out there with hips and groins and shit. So again,
I feel like head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Forget it. Head, shoulders, hamstrings, and hips.
Frank Clark expected to miss a couple of weeks. Injury is not considered serious, but he is week to week for probably a couple of weeks. So a lot of crazy shit going down in the NFL. What about our Cowboys? What are we doing here? Because again, as a Cowboy relative player, you want to hear about maybe a free agent signing on the offensive line. We talked about this guy released yesterday, former LSU star tackle, former Cowboy starter at right tackle, and now cut by the Cincinnati Bengals, free agent La'el Collins. Listen, I'm going to say I think this is BS, but he's expected to have talks with the Dallas Cowboys about a potential reunion. That's the word. I think it's not like being picked up by the major people.
Of course
he
wants to come back to Dallas. See. Why wouldn't he?
By the way, got to do 2 shout-outs here. I just realized it. Got Mr. Razor Tough.
Woo.
Part of the family here in MCF. Appreciate you. And we got Mark Hovsepian, the man I wanted to see about this situation. What do you think about La'el Collins? And, maybe having conversations with the Cowboy. I'm saying a big maybe. I'm not even saying this is as rumor as I get, because this is not really even confirmed. But there seems to be some interest for the Cowboys showing interest on Collins, who, recovering from his ACL tear, still played 6 years with the Cowboys, one of the better tackles in the league at the time. Now he's a free agent. Will the Cowboys pick him up? There's outside light rumors that he may do that. But in the meantime, I'll wait to hear from Mark on that. What did Mark say with his 5 on it, taking Jason Renfro with 34 points in the Stream Boss and breaking that tie?
He said, I've never been a fan of Hurts. He's a Dak who can run. As much as I dislike Dak, I think Dak is a better thrower.
Yeah.
A ton of hype with Hurts. He's an overpaid manager. So it's funny
a running back that can throw. I mean, that's dangerous.
He reminds me
for his injuries
of, oh my goodness, who's that guy that Voodoo Alpha always jokes?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, there we go. Love Voodoo Alpha, cracks me up, but he always jokes that Lamar Jackson's not a quarterback, he's a running back who can throw. I think that Jalen Hurts gives me better than Lamar Jackson vibes. Obviously not as good when it comes to the run game, but a better passer. So like you took a little from the run game, added to the pass, bam. That's Jalen Hurts. So
we'll see if he lasts.
Him is that I was going to say he was relatively consistent, especially for a young guy. Now that he's got his big paycheck, let's see how consistent he ends up staying. But you can clearly already see some changes offensively to protect their QB.
Yeah. I think they're running a lot more DeAndre Swift. That's a good job by the Eagles. Now, with that drop, Jason goes at 34, but now he goes at 24. You know why? Because John Montgomery now jumps right behind first place. He's just droplets away from first place, overtaking Snug X. What did John Montgomery say with that $10 holler?
Zack Martin is a beast.
Woo.
I'm really impressed with our O-line for game 1. What are y'all's thoughts on the O-line?
Our thoughts have always been starting offensive line top 10 when they're all healthy. When we're not healthy, it's question marks. It goes down quick. But you know what? That's why Chuma Edoga gets a lot of big reps, a lot of big. We're going to talk more about him tomorrow because I believe tomorrow we'll know more about Tyler Smith. I don't think Tyler Smith's going to play, but Chuma Edoga is going to have to come up big another week in a row, and he did fantastic. Watch him pull, watch him move out there, guys. I'm going to talk about some blocking that we did in the run game. It's very, very conducive to what Chuma Edoga is able to do inside. So we love what he's doing at guard. I didn't expect that from him. I'm very happy. He got killed by Micah Parsons in training camp, but that's Micah Parsons. So you know how it goes. You know how that story goes. We got our drop here from Mr. Jason Renfro, the $1 holler right there.
Woo.
And a Go Cowboys from him. But I also see Mark Hovsepian. He's also showing up there on that activity list with a 5 on it. And now in a tie with Mr. John Montgomery for second place. Back in a tie for second. It just drops behind first. What did both these... I mean, you know what Jason Renfro said? He Go Cowboys. What did Mark Hovsepian have to say, baby? Taking Jason to 19 points.
He said, if Collins can contribute in 4 to 6 weeks and is cheap, I would get him on if we know that he can recover and sign him long term. Cheap, he would be great depth.
Yeah, again, the key that you said there that I disagree with is long term. There's no long term for La'el Collins. He's a short term backup for us right now. I think long-term backups are guys like, let's go, TJ Bass, Asim Richards. That's the Cowboys' plan going forward with long-term, right? Which this year, you want to shore it up. La'el Collins could be an option. We don't have let's go in. He's out for at least 4 weeks. So we'll see where the Cowboys go with this. Again, this is very light. This is very, trickling very lightly on the rumor stuff here. I want to make sure and asterisk this that I've not heard any major outlets say this yet. There's some minor stuff coming out. Maybe we'll hear more tomorrow, but just so you guys know, if you ever want to hear something, the closest the Cowboys have come to signing a free agent offensive lineman, there you go. Maybe La'el Collins. He's a free agent currently after the Bengals released him a couple days ago. And we talked about that right here in MCF. Now, another drop, baby, by the man. I see, another drop. 2 back-to-backs right there. $2 hollers. 2 Go Cowboys by the man, Jason Renfro. Much love to the man. JR.
Always appreciate you, Jason. Much love. Thank you so much. Always a classic Go Cowboys. So
let's again. That's good discussion there. I just wanted to. That's the NFL news. We can kind of direct ourselves back to Cowboy news specifically to this game and ourselves. So what happened today? Injuries we're going to discuss. But first, before we even go there, maybe I wanted to talk about, because we're kind of still in the opening of this show. You know how we do this here. We take our time. We go through it all. And I wanted to bring up the uniform change for the Cowboys. So just so you guys know, first and foremost, you see this stuck on the helmet here. That is Gil Brandt. Cowboys are going to wear this on the left, this sticker, on the Cowboy helmets. Every helmet's going to be wearing this for this Sunday game against the Jets to honor Hall of Famer, Ring of Honor member Gil Brandt. And, all the stuff he contributed to the NFL, the Cowboys, and beyond. So former personnel chief who, of course, we know recently passed away. So that's a nice touch. I like it. And, much love to Mr. Gil Brandt. But I also want to take a look at those uniforms. You see that change on the Cowboy. Now, you see that number 17 up there, that navy blue. That's a Brandon Aubrey right there. But the Cowboys might be wearing this combination. Not just those. It's not going to be just those silver pants, the really darker silver pants or grayer pants. It's going to be the darker gray pants, and you're going to have that royal blue stripe on the side of the pants. So I don't know. Do you like this? Do you think it makes it? I don't even know what it's going to look like. I'm trying to envision it right now. What do you?
I mean,
the way you can see it visually on the screen.
Yeah, so. I mean, again, I have to admit, as far as like the pants and stuff like that, I think I said it before when you mentioned it, but I am a fan of the pants. Obviously, the Go Brandt sticker is well earned, well deserved, and big respect to the man Gil. But as far as the outfit, I mean, honestly, I'm all about it. I appreciate how much of a fashionista our Dallas Cowboys tend to be.
Well,
so
Jerry Jones trying to switch it up. I do want to say something about Jerry Jones' comment the other day. We heard about Jim Trotter on that racial comment he made.
A little racialist.
Jerry Jones, I don't think he's a full on blatant racist, but I do think he's somebody who's very racially insensitive. When you look at him like that, I think I can see, some of his slip of the tongue, kind of not realizing some awareness issues, So anyways, I just want to throw it in there. But he is designing these uniforms. Listen, uniform is getting a makeover, a subtle makeover, right? The Cowboys, again, everyone, we've noticed this for a couple of days. I wanted to show you guys, but these new pants could be worn when the Cowboys wear their white jerseys as well. Again, the word is this week we're not going to wear. We're not going to wear it this game. We were wearing the white jerseys on the road against the Giants for that 40-0 win, and we didn't use those. We used our traditional white and seafoam green pants, right? But we're going to keep an eye on these changes on the uniform. Right now, the Cowboys are going to wear their first Navy jersey, baby, for our game on October 29th. But first, I'll stop right now. What did the man John Montgomery have to say as he has, I think, come into first place, baby? Currently on the overall board. Ooh. John Montgomery out of nowhere.
Thank you, John. I appreciate you.
I'm taking over. Let me know.
The Jets, O-line, stunk. How many sacks do you think we'll get?
Oh, yeah.
Also, will you be live during the game? So that last one, super easy.
Always.
Yes, every single game that the Dallas Cowboys play, we will be live here, giving you guys our live instant reaction.
Yep.
Except for one game.
Well, yeah, the one
we'll get. That is the game that we will be physically in person.
But the watch party is the play-by-play breakdown. How we get here. We're passionate. I don't care. At that moment, we're just watching with you guys. We're fans. We're all fans together in this thing. And yeah, we do that. We did this for 6 years. 6 years. This is our 7th season of doing these games live with you guys. So, hey, we know how you guys. I know how I feel about this. I know how the wife feels about this. We're crazy about it, And so it's kind of similar. Again, some people are as crazy as us. Some people aren't as crazy as us. But either way, we all relate together, right? Much love, John. Appreciate you. Jason Renfro, 15 points, and I'll fix that overall board in a minute. But I wanted to show something here. You see that? That Week 8 game is where your family here, the MCF family. MCF, MCW, and the kids are going to be going to that game against the Rams. That is the first game, which is October 29th, the first game the Cowboys are going to wear their navy blue uniform, the tops, for the home game too, purposely. So we're forcing the Rams into the whites. So the point is, we're going to wear our navy blue. That could be the game where you see these brand new bottoms for the Cowboys. So, there's that, sitting around the corner there. And if you look at the rest of the schedule, the color rush uniforms are going to be worn, I think, week 6 against the Chargers and week 14 against the Eagles. Their color rush will be coming out against the Eagles at AT&T Stadium. So keep an eye out for those two. Thanksgiving, of course, against Washington there. That's going to be a throwback Navy. So, our throwback Navy Thanksgiving ones, which is like the Romo ones and a decade ago, the ones we wore last year on Thanksgiving. So that's going to be the uniform kind of breakdown there. And, of course, those are, the current little alterations there. The Gil Brandt, that's just for this week on the helmet. But those stripes on the pants, might be the first one, be the Rams game, where we're going to be actually live at that game. So we shall see what happens where the Cowboys wear that navy blue outfit with maybe those new silver bottoms. We shall see. So moving on from that, let's get on to McCarthy. All right, he spoke today in his usual press conference at the Star in Frisco, and as we know, important questions are all around when it comes to this upcoming game. And the Jets game. So McCarthy's looking forward to using the full game plan versus the Jets, he said. So, again, because of the rainstorm against the Giants in the Giants game, there was no way of unveiling the full arsenal of what his plans were going forward on offense. So, again, he just said today he wants to use the full game plan that he has kind of constructed in a more expanded role here against the New York Jets. Again, he also felt like that wasn't just the rain that kind of stopped his offense approach. It was not just the rain. It was also the fact that we had a big lead. The big lead also kind of didn't let his game plan to kind of be rolled out fully, right? So McCarthy's kind of talking about that. So, again, he had a more scaled-down approach because of the rain, because of the big lead that we had in the game. So, he said, quote, "I'm excited to compete against this defense," referring to the Jets, and that's who we're going to talk about tonight, guys. Mike McCarthy also said that Dan Quinn's defense, putting those 7 sacks up and those 3 takeaways, don't forget about the defensive touchdown. He said, he said this about this, quote, "Our best defensive football is in front of us," which is very exciting, especially the way we've taken the ball away the last 2 years and the production we've had with our pass rush. So again, McCarthy is saying the best of this defense is still in front of us. We haven't not even come close to get to where we need to be on defense.
Which honestly makes sense considering it's been exactly one game since we've seen all of our defensive pieces together and making it happen. But of course, the expectations are starting to trickle out, right? Our baseline is now apparently 40-0. So, if you want to blame anyone, blame the Cowboys defense for being that good.
Let's just not overdo it, right? Let's not overconfident on this. No, I'm just saying in general, like for the players' side of things. Now, Donovan Wilson, Tyler Smith, Brandon Cooks. All right, these are 3 guys that are banged up, and we got to see what's going on with them. According to McCarthy, quote, "All 3 have improved. Donovan Wilson did more work yesterday than I expected. Tyler Smith will work at rehab today, and Brandon Cooks will also be in the same mode." That's what McCarthy said about today. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, don't forget about Jordan Lewis, guys. Jordan Lewis, according to McCarthy, who we know he hasn't appeared in any game since that Detroit game last year in the broken foot, but according to McCarthy, he's considered, quote, "very close to playing," and basically that McCarthy said that Jordan Lewis is going to do more in practice this week than last week, which is perfect for the ramp up to get in the game, for the first time since that horrible foot injury, that broken foot situation. Now, as we go, that was it from McCarthy. We go into the practice. We saw some guys on that field that we got to kind of keep an eye on, right? So Brandon Cooks, first and foremost, he had a knee issue. We know this. I'm going to go into the details on him in a minute, but he was working on resistance cords during the portion of practice I was open to the reporters today. If Brandon Cooks cannot go, keep in mind, you're going to see Jalen Tolbert. You're going to see more Kevontae Turpin. You're going to see a little Jalen Brooks. You're going to see more Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup's going to be more involved in this upcoming game. He has to be the number 2. So Michael Gallup will get much more involvement in this game if Brandon Cooks cannot play. But Brandon Cooks on the field on the practice field was in good spirits. Tolbert has earned trust in the offense. And again, like I reiterate this, Michael Gallup is getting more game planned into this week just in case. So good to see everything. I don't have any fear with the emergence of Jalen Tolbert and the fact that Michael Gallup is definitely better off than he was last year. I think that we are okay to continue going forward with even if there's a hiccup for a week or two with Brandon Cooks. Now, Brandon Cooks was also not just by himself; he was also there with Tyler Smith. Brandon Cooks and Tyler Smith were both working on the resistance courts today on the side of the sideline area with rehabilitation ahead there. Britt Brown, Donovan Wilson. I will throw him in the mix here too, guys. Donovan Wilson was in pads, practicing in pads for the first time since January. So that's fantastic for Dono. And,
I mean, it's kind of crazy to think that he's somehow progressing faster than Tyler Smith in a way.
Well, but again, remember this, his injury was way back farther.
I know, I agree. I'm just saying, like,
in
it's
training camp. No, in the beginning of training camp.
Disagreeing with that.
And the reason it's not counting pads in training camp because in training camp there was that first practice he got hurt in. They didn't have pads on, so that was the last padded practice. Today's padded practice for him was his last padded practice before this was the playoff game for the Niners. That's the point there. So big step forward.
Is on again. I know we're extra late night here, but we do try.
Yes, we do. Donovan Wilson, though, back in pads. Great sign. First time since the playoff game. Great sign there for Donovan Wilson. Maybe getting back on that field this weekend. Every single player we get out there help the run support. Donovan Wilson will be big for this. So good for him there. Before he even got put into practice today, Britt Brown and him shared a huge hug and a few words before practice. He's been recognized. Britt Brown has been recognized by the NFL as one of the best trainers in the league right now. So again, there's a lot of things that he does with these players who have suffered injuries, been under his care, and he's very tight with them. Helps them back to getting the playoff, the playing mode. And Donovan Wilson, very, very appreciative of that today. Good to see. Also, one other guy, Jordan Lewis, in practice today. Diligent in his recovery, itching to get back on the field, looking good over there, full pads, full practice. I think he might get a chance this week against the Jets. So, Jordan Lewis in the defensive backfield, Donovan Wilson back in the defensive backfield. That's great news. Still question marks on Tyler Smith. And, of course, we talk about Brandon Cooks. Question mark on him right now. We'll talk more about this in a minute because there's another guy we didn't know today after this practice that also was injured. You see him on our thumbnail. We'll talk about him in a minute. But first, we'll talk about Mr. Mark Hovsepian, who's in a tie for first place now with John Montgomery. What is the man, Mark Hovsepian, trying to go back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys as our sponsor of the week? What do you have to say, baby?
Cooks has a sprained MCL. Why rush him back? Let them rest. Good teams have good depth. Let the great backups play and let the peeps reset. And let peeps rest, and the Jets have Jack at QB. So technically his name isn't Jack, it's Zack. But yes, I'm sorry, Mark, I had to do that one. But thank you, Mark, appreciate you. And yes, I obviously we touched on it a little bit here, but I don't think there's a reason to rush him back, right? Unless it's maybe like he himself who's rushing himself back. Like, is it the player? Hopefully you get my point, right? So, who exactly is going to be the one to actually keep Cooks from playing in a realistic way? So,
well, we're going to talk about
Scotty, take it easy, have a great night. But yeah, Tyler, I was surprised to not have seen Tolbert last week. But again, the weather was a factor, not surprising. But this week, better see Tolbert everywhere now. Well,
again, and great,
what I mean.
Great part for great time for Mark to drop that love with the comment he's saying, because with 10 points by the way, a $10 holler by anybody takes that stream boss down and it puts it in your control. So we'll see. Mark and tied right now in first place with Mr. John Montgomery, and Snug X in third place currently. So, anyways, the injury report came out after the practice and everything. Brandon Cooks with the knee issue did not practice. All right. Tyler Smith with the hamstring did not practice. Tyron Smith, full practice. Fantastic. Donovan Wilson with the calf. Today, he upgraded from did not practice yesterday to limited. We saw him in full pads. Great news. We knew this here. So, yeah, guys, Tyron Smith, full participant. Jordan Lewis wasn't even listed. All good news there. Donovan Wilson upgraded from limited, to limited now, since suffering the injury. First time he's been listed at that, like I said, since the Niner game in January. Brandon Cooks, as expected. Tyler Smith, as expected. Stay with the rehab group. And we're officially non-participants at practice today. The other guy that we have to bring up that kind of popped up on this thing, and this is why no one knew about it, until now. We'll know more about it tomorrow. But it's number 70, the gob, Zack Martin. So what the hell's going on? Zack Martin was on this injury list with a groin injury. A groin injury for Zack Martin. Now, yesterday, of course, not injured. Today, he had a limited practice, which means he probably got injured in the practice and had to leave the practice, because it's not like he was injured beforehand and then, jumped in for some drills or something. He got injured in the practice today. Now, don't know exactly how it happened or what happened, but Zack Martin was on 105.3 The Fan today, and the first thing was like, what happened? What happened to that groin injury when you were added to that injury report? What did Zack Martin respond to that quote? I'm doing good, just a little tight. They were taking care of me today. And then they asked him, is there any? A lot of people were. I guess they weren't asking him, but they basically people were kind of asked that were close to this. Do you see any reason that Zack Martin will not play on Sunday? The consensus answer is no. There is no way that he will not play on Sunday. He will play on Sunday. That is almost, I won't say a guarantee. It's almost a guarantee, though. Again, something that to keep your eye on without a question when it comes to Zack Martin. I don't know how concerned you are about that. But, we never like to see any offensive lineman hit.
Very concerned about his groin, yes.
I'm saying, but I'm saying, like, we don't want. The last we could do is lose another offensive lineman. Much love to Jason Renfro, dropping that dollar holler. And he's dropping that what? Navy, blue, silver, stars over everything representation. Ooh. And I go Cowboys. Much love to Jason Renfro. Back up to 11 points. That's a Micah Parsons if you want to take over that board from Jason. Much love to him. And, baby, what do you think, again, about Zack? Are you worried?
Again, bumps and bruises. I'm not super worried, but like you said, the worry is not even as much as like, oh, Zack Martin's a little banged up. It's like, oh, no, he's the third offensive lineman to be a little banged up. So, it feels like we're getting by the skin of our mother freaking teeth here. Not a fan. Please, everybody, just stay healthy. Take it easy. I don't know, deep breaths. There's something here, please. So, Little Tired says Zach Wilson's going to be under pressure all night and then some. Yeah, and we kind of touched on this a little bit. I know he scrambles and moves a little bit better than Rodgers, but yeah, our D-line's going to get in there in 3 seconds or less. So, or your money back guaranteed. Oh, cracking no, Choctaw Montana away. Much love. He said, don't buy into the Madden 24 hype. Oh, does it suck?
Really? I heard good things in the beginning about it. But we didn't get it this time around.
Oh, so rolling back here, and yes, we are. I would say we're definitely better than the Jets.
But let's focus on anything Zach. Anything Zack Martin relative. I'm just curious to know what people are thinking about that.
We touched on the few Zack Martin comments specifically here in the chat, but again, look, Zack Martin is just such a critical piece of everything we're doing, and
I don't think there's much worry. That's the good news there. Yes. It sounds like most people,
like I said, bumps and bruises. Sometimes those bumps and bruises do go on the injury report.
Oh, yeah.
So
sometimes you can't play a full practice. You want to take, I don't say a vet day, but again, this is the problem. It happened in the middle of the practice, so it's something we have to kind of watch. I think the worry is tempered down when Zack Martin himself said he's going to be fine, but I think it's more about let's hear McCarthy's assessment tomorrow. Let's see what he looks like on the injury report tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, that's the question. Let me update the board and hit up another comment or two.
Mario was saying that they're going to run 30-plus times. I mean, one of the unfortunate side effects, obviously, of the whole Aaron Rodgers thing is they are going to be, even if they don't want to be, but they will end up a little bit one-dimensional just because, again, Wilson is obviously taking over the offense once again, but now he's having to do it in kind of a very short, scrambled, updated type of way. And yeah, there's no way if we have less than 3 sacks, I'll be disappointed. But I feel like 3 sacks is like just the entryway to get in, right?
We'll see what happens. I think that we have to contain him, like I said. Now, hey, baby, we talked about Zack Martin. Everyone's kind of feels good about it. I'm glad about that. I got to shout out somebody here on My Cowboys Family who just took over the lead Now on the overall board, he jumped to third place on the overall board, right above Snug X.
Woo!
A new leader in the house, baby. On the Cash App board, David S. dropping a 5-0, a Devin Harper. A $50 holler right there from Mr. David S. Appreciate you, sir. And go Cowboys.
Woo.
His comment was go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.
Yeah, so appreciate you, David. Much love. Much respect.
Let us know what your username is here in the chat as well, so we can give you some.
Yeah, I put him as David S. So just so it fits up there, but appreciate you. And yeah, he's third on the overall board, first in the Cash App. Will he be the king this week? He's coming for that crown. Much love, David S. Appreciate you, David. Jason still got 11 points on the Stream Boss, by the way.
Micah Parsons representation.
Yes. So much love to him, David. Appreciate you, David. And yes, it just out of the blue, just takes over, jumps over Gloria and everybody else on that Cash App board into first place. So I do want to go back for a second, though, and there was an additional kind of not addendum, but an addition here to the injury to Brandon Cooks. All right, guys. So Brandon Cooks here. Let me just throw up some of his video practice that he had, this offseason. Update on his injury. What is his injury? You guys said it in the chat already. Reportedly dealing with a sprained MCL. And here's the key, guys. It's a grade 1. It's a grade 1 MCL, which means it's a very minor sprain. That's the important thing here. A grade 1 MCL sprain with and that's why Mark asked about it. And it's an MCL sprain, but do you want to rush him back on the field? Hell no. But at the same time, is it something where you can get him on that field because it is very minor? It's not going to be, if it's something that truly you can get on that field and play and not re-aggravate it or make it worse, then I don't know if, I think that's why he is still very possible to play this game against the Jets. His ability to play this week is in question, but he's also not ruled out. Normal sprain, that's a grade 2 or grade 3, he'd be ruled out already. He would not be having a chance to play, but because it's a grade 1 sprain, there is a chance he can play this game. It's also, let me reiterate to everybody so they understand, a grade 1 MCL sprain is not considered a multi-week injury. So even though
so
a regular sprain is,
I would say that distinction is already kind of made there as
correct.
Far as grade 1 and literally any other grade.
Felix Jones. You guys remember old Felix Jones coming to mind? The Cowboys had players miss no time with this same exact injury. Felix Jones is one of the players that come to mind. So keep that in mind. Brandon Cooks might not play, but he also might play. We're not sure yet. And of course we know, baby, there's never a good thing. There's never a thing as a good knee injury, ever. But this does not appear to be a bad knee injury. You guys understand what the difference I'm trying to make here? Full recovery can take a couple of days or maybe a week and a half or so, but does not require surgery because it is grade 1. It is not a multi-week injury. Mm-hmm. At worst, it's a 2 to 3 week injury if it was any other grade. Grade 1, it should be a couple days to a week or so, So he might miss his game. Either way, he'll back next week and no real long reoccurring issues to worry about. We shall see. When it comes to Brandon Cooks and, all the work he put in. Oh, well, there he is doing it real quickly. But initially, the hope from us is that it was a veteran rest day. We had said this, it was a knee, but maybe it was just a little resting time there. Now it's clearly not the case. No need to panic, though. We gotta, Cowboys have to monitor the foreseeable future. We have Tolbert, we have, Michael Gallup. So I think the Cowboys will, we will know if he's going to play tomorrow or Saturday. By then we should know. Again, he only had 4 targets, 2 catches, 22 yards last week, but drew massive pass interference penalty and drew a lot of coverage away from other guys to open things up. So if he has to miss any time, like I said, guys, Gallup gets more of a role, Tolbert gets more of the third receiver role, and we keep going. You'll see more Cavante Turpin. We talked about this, right? We should be okay for missing Brandon Cooks for a week or even 2 weeks. Much love to Mark Hovsepian, who now is by himself in first place on that overall board, baby. What did the man Mark have to say?
Oh, he said, you don't mess with MCLs.
Yeah,
it makes no sense to play him. We have so-called great depth, and playing a team that will have no offense and defense, we have a great D. So,
again, I hear you, I understand, and I agree. There's no need to force him out there. I agree with him. I think the Cowboys will not force Brandon Cooks in that field. But I do want to reiterate, grade 1 sprain is you can play in a couple of days without any further damage, is all I'm trying to say. It's possible. I don't think the Cowboys will do it. I'm with Mark on this. But if for some reason he's good and the doctors say he's like back to normal, then I guess he can play then, right? We'll see what happens. I'm more on Mark's side on this. I think we'll end up not letting him play this week. There's no need to rush him. We do have good depth, not so cold depth. Michael Gallup got to perform. Tolbert looked like he was connecting. We all saw it, right? So we should have missed a beat. Much love, by the way, to Jason Renfro battling. And he went down to 6. He's back to 11. But back to Micah Parsons. Just kind of come back and forth and take it. So Jason Renfro back to 11 points. What did he say, baby? Mr. Jason Renfro with that 5 on it.
He said, go Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
Then after that, with the $6 holler, he said, Orale Cowboys, rest.
Oh, no, that was Jason Renfro, I said. That was Jason Renfro with the 5. No. It was Mark Hosepian with the 6 on it. Trying to take it, but Jason put the 5 on in front of you there. So there it is. So 6 on it right there. You just, again, Orale, right?
Orale Cowboys, rest.
So he wants to rest. Mr. Brandon Cooks try to take over that stream boss. He's got it down to 5, though. 5 on it. Takes it away from Jason Renfro. We'll see what happens. Mark, much love. Jason, much love.
Jason Renfro holding on to it with just those 5 points there. So who is number 6 on the team right now?
Mr. Donovan Wilson.
There you go. So Donovan Wilson takes it away. Pretty appropriate.
Very important
all things
player. Yes.
Today.
Yes, it all makes sense now, doesn't it?
So and yes, thank goodness. Obviously, the Cooks is not hurt worse.
Yeah,
The good thing is the guys on their injury report right now are just like bumps, bruises, little banged up type of small injuries. So hopefully we can just get through this game like this. When I mean injury free, right? Because there's probably still going to be a guy or two that has a bump or a bruise or whatever. But we're definitely at least trending in the right direction, right? The few guys that were banged up and weren't able to play are slowly trickling their way back onto, active participation situations. So,
I agree. And very important. Like I said here with this video, that we get someone like him, whether it's this week or next week, whenever he comes back, Brandon Cooks doesn't just go out there and make a play or make a catch. He also drags people away from other receivers. That's the importance, I think, even more than his ability to make catches almost in a way. But no matter how we do this thing, Brandon Cook's got to be in the mix somehow, and he will be. It's just a much lesser injury than how about this? It's a much lesser injury than it could have been for Brandon Cooks. Fairest way of saying that. By the way, Jason Renfro trying to pump it back up to a $10 holler to take that down. Cooper Rush now. Jason Renfro putting that 5 on it. What did the man say?
No, he said, "Go Cowboys."
Go Cowboys.
Powered himself up to 10 points there on the stream boss.
Yes. So now appreciate you guys as well. Much love, and the battle continues. I know I got to fix Jason Renfro on the board as well here, but I need a couple minutes for that. But I do want to make sure we get to some of the discussions afterwards from our players, like Dak Prescott. Now, before we even get any closer to what he said today, I do want to remind you guys a couple very important facts about our offense. And we're going to talk about, more about their defense here tonight than about our own offense. But I do want to bring up with Dak Prescott, you can see that we talked about it yesterday. He leads the NFL in with this Texas Coast offense. He leads the NFL with the lowest average time to throw. We said this yesterday. We talked the one of the highest ones is their quarterback. We talked about that in detail yesterday. But Dak, as we also discussed, the lowest average time to throw the ball. 2.37 seconds. Guys, Mark, everybody, I've been discussing this for weeks and weeks. What did I say? Getting the ball out fast. I saw this in preseason, and you saw this in this first game. Get the ball out fast. Get the ball out fast. That's what the thing is for this offense. And it worked very well in the sense of not making mistakes, not turning the ball over, moving the ball enough. Again, in the rain. I know there are issues, but either way, we did a good enough job. Again, like I said, the offense was the 6th most efficient offense this week. Dak was the 5th most efficient quarterback this past week. And again, getting the ball out in 2.3 seconds. His time to throw, which is 2.3 seconds for week 1. Some other place, I think PFF has his time to throw at 2.11 seconds.
Either way, that's crazy
It's
fast.
insane. That means that his time was 0.21 seconds faster than the next quickest guy in the league. That's a lot. That's a lot faster than the next guy. And Next Gen Stats had it at 2.37. Like I said, the lowest average time through their numbers as well. He was number 1 on all boards when it comes to getting rid of that ball fast. 2.11 or 2.37. He had the fastest time to throw in the NFL after week 1. That is major. That is part of the scheme, and that's going to help Dak. It's going to help the offense. And wait till it's cleaner, where it's not raining. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how this thing works against a better defense, too, against the Jets. Although, about the same on the defensive line, in coverage and everything else. Overall, better defense. The defensive line is not much different than the Giants. We'll talk about that. And it's still good. That means it's good defensive front. We handle like we did handle last week. We should have a much better game on offense, to be honest. Brandon James Shea, guess what he just did, baby? He dropped a boom on it, took the $10 holler, dropped it on the table. He said, "Give me that stream, boss. The takeover is in." What did Brandon James have to say, baby?
He said, "Go Cowboys, go Cowboys. I go to the Jets game against the Eagles in week 6.
And make sure you don't cheer on the Eagles.
Yes.
Right? We're going to throw some Eagle wins on there.
Hopefully it's a Jets redemption situation, right? Tommy Montoya, much love. And cell phones can be stupid sometimes, right? So Steve has said that Jason from Marco Seppian are legit having a boxing match. So
yeah, it's a little back and forth there, right?
Oh, rolling back a little. Starboy Entertainment said, "We have so many weapons. Next man up."
I'm telling you, that's where you need these guys to come through when it comes to the receiver spot, let's say, and Mr. Cooks over there. So right now we still have Mark's in first, John's in second, David in third, Snug in fourth, Ron the Don in fifth, and I gotta make sure I add everybody else on this board here, baby. Let me get this caught up, and I need just to hit up the chat and with a couple of quick questions as we get ready to go to the next side of things, which is going to be really Dak's discussions here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of quick questions, comments, and let's roll it on.
And again, thank you again, Brandon. Let me see. Starboy, that's a good one here. Rolling back a little bit. No, just kind of double checking here perfectly. So let's go ahead and get into some of the things that were said. Like you said, baby, by our
Prescott,
players. And specifically in this case, yes, Dak Prescott, he spoke quite a bit, did share, obviously, lots of his thoughts. So to kick things off, he obviously can empathize very much with Aaron Rodgers right now because, well, they both had situations when they ended up missing basically an entire season, break it down however you want. But Dak said, quote, "It's tough. My heart broke for him in that moment. You could tell by the way that he went down that it was something more serious than an ankle. I know he's got a lot of support, so I'd say just lean in on that." And of course,
good advice.
I see someone else leaning into a $1 holler there. Thank you so much, Jason. Appreciate you.
He said a go Cowboys. You know how he does.
You know it.
Much love, Jason. Appreciate you.
So
taking a point down from the stream boss there.
Kind of rolling back to what Dak said, everything happens for a reason. We don't always see it or understand why, but you just got to keep faith, take the small victories, and somewhere or another, good is going to come out of it.
Dak breaking it down.
And of course he was also asked, oh, how do you feel about, the fact that obviously you're not going to face Aaron Rodgers? You feel better about that? Dak said, shit, no. I wanted to play against the guy. I've had a lot of great battles with him over the years. Hell of a player, and it sucks that he's not going to be able to get me right out there. So, now, of course, adding on to that, Dak Prescott did say, don't count on the Cowboys to, somehow go out there and turn into some, crazy offensive powerhouse, because he did actually give a lot of respect and credit to that Jets defense, right? Dak adding in there, to say that it diminishes an NFL game would be wild of me, especially understanding how great this defense is. Go watch the way that they won that game the other night. They've got our respect and haven't lost any of that, but yeah, it's tough not playing against the guy I've enjoyed competing against for the entirety of my career. So, again, obviously Dak Prescott very much looking forward to that, matchup there against Aaron Rodgers, but those were not the cards we were dealt, and you cannot count out that defense. We've all been kind of thinking it, worrying about it, saying it, it's not going to be as easy peasy as we think. So,
we're going to talk about that defense tonight. So get ready, guys. So I'm going to tell you how we beat that defense.
I had an idea. So anyway, real quick, obviously Dak Prescott said a little bit more. He said, I am looking forward to it, but I wouldn't mind another 16-point lead. Obviously, that serves nice.
I love that.
You get to keep some of your tricks in your bag, not show everything that you need to. But knowing we'll be playing indoors and knowing it's going to be better conditions and to get to the passing game going. So, yeah, a lot of excitement. We've worked hard on this to get to where we are, to get as comfortable as we are as a full unit. We're planning for a lot of it to come to fruition. So
I love to hear that.
And one of the big points, too, that Dak made about their defense, he said it, quote, well-coached defense. It's a vision defense with eyes on me. They can get after it. They've got a great pass rush. You watched that game on Monday. They held a hell of an offense to just a few points. So we know the challenge that we have on our hands. So, and of course, you know, who wants some garlic bread? Because Dak Prescott's talking about that Texas toast once more. And he had a big smile on his face when he did it. He said it equalizes a pass rush. Those guys, and honestly, these guys coming in, just being able to get the ball out of my hands quickly, says a lot about the receivers flying off the ball and getting into their spacing, getting into their timing, getting to where they need to be, and feeling comfortable in my reads. You know, the communication that we put in during the week about what I'm going to see and what I'm getting at, there's a lot that goes into that. But credit to those guys on the outside. They deserve it for understanding the purpose of these plays. It's not always about beating the defenders. Sometimes it's about beating the pass rush. So, and of
That's
course,
very true. That's very true. Because, again, that's what we've been talking about. Sometimes the pass rush comes, and you know, it's going to disrupt no matter how good you run the route or how good your receivers are.
So,
I thought, okay. No, I thought you had something else you were still going to say on it.
I know.
Okay.
I said it.
Cool. No, just making sure. I just wanted to make sure. So, is that everything that Dak said today?
No, Dak also chimed in, by the way. So this whole turf grass debate, I guess, is like extended out. Like players are being asked this stuff. Dak and CD both said, no, grass is the way to go. Micah Parsons said, I'll play on concrete if I had to. I don't give a shit. Dak Prescott's like, yeah, he's young. That makes me laugh because you know those knees are screaming at the end of those games on the turf. So, again, love to hear from Dak. Love to hear what he has to say. And, of course, you know, that slight disappointment still from the fact that, you know, we're not going to see or face off against, you know, Aaron Rodgers is still just a little bit sad.
But, you know, it's still, but again, that's a great thing he said about the defense and the way the Jets run their defense.
Yeah.
I want to know the Jets defensive coordinator. His name is Jeff Ulbrich. When he was asked about Dak Prescott and the interceptions from last year, you know, what did the defensive coordinator say from the Jets? Jeff Ulbrich. What did he say?
He's got such a winner's mentality. He's got winner DNA, and you feel it and see it on the tape, and it jumps out to you. With all winners, at times, sometimes that's their superpower, and sometimes that's your kryptonite. It'll be interesting to see the version we get on Sunday, but he's a great player. He's very similar to Josh Allen in the fact that he can make plays in the pocket, outside the pocket, he can extend plays. He's been a very good quarterback in this league for a long time. It's going to be a great challenge for us.
So we're going to try to strain them a little bit. I don't want to strain them. I don't want to go into triple coverage. That's my key there. Keep that in mind, Mike McCarthy. I trust Mike McCarthy more than I do, you know, Mr. Kellen Moore. By the way, two people I do trust a lot in here. Jason Renfro with a $1.05 holler and a Go Cowboys. And then the man Mark Hovsepian trying to get in, trying to break out all by himself in there. First place, Mark Hovsepian dropping that 5 on it. And what did Mr. Mark have to say with that 5? I got an update as well, baby. That might break everyone's kind of screen here in a minute. I'll explain in a minute.
All right, so Mark Hovsepian, thank you, mahalo. He said, I'll give it to Dak. Not worth $50 million to play quarterback, but worth $50 million for being the most politically correct spokesperson. What's he going to say? New York sucks dick?
No, but he knows how to say it without saying it, in a way. He's saying it very respectfully, you know?
Again, Dak had Dallas Cowboy media training since, like, college, because you're right. He has always done a very good job of saying the right things and I think representing the team as kind of their face/spokesperson in a way.
He's the
in
face
a
of
way
the team.
that
Yeah.
I think, obviously, Jerry really likes and appreciates. But I do think he's brought this kind of level of professionalism and seriousness, at least from that side of things, that I personally do like, enjoy, and respect. So, but of course, you know, that only gets you so far. We got to actually go out there and play and win games.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll get there. I know we'll get there. Just let's see how this offense continues to improve. Dak spoke a lot. We can move on to other offensive players. But before we get there, let's move on to one of the MCF players. You know his name. He's the leader. And he dropped another one here. David S. dropped a $26 Duran Bland holler to take over first place on the overall board currently and the Cash App board. This guy's coming for it all. Mr. David S. Mr. S. is coming for the top spot. So appreciate him. And he said, go Cowboys again. Always rep that navy blue silver too. That star over everything. Much love, David. Appreciate you once again with the drops of love there in the Cash App. So, speaking of other positions here outside of quarterback, no running backs spoke today, I don't think. We heard from Tony Pollard yesterday. But I just want to say one thing about the Cowboys and the way they run some of their, some of their running plays and stuff. The Cowboys ran very well, running gap out of 13 personnel. 1 running back, 3 tight ends. We ran a lot of kind of pulling, and Chuma was doing this a lot in this gap runs that we were having guys pull and go into the right gap, into the B gap or the C gap. And we did that last year very well. We're still doing it this year on the ground. I think a lot of that is the marriage of Mike Soliari on the offensive line coach and Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator. I think they're working a lot on the running stuff, and I like what they're still kind of keeping what's working, and they're keeping that gap run, those gap runs, those pulls. I love it. Now, speaking of this, Tyler Biadasz confirmed that the way the Cowboys are doing stuff, and I want to explain. I don't know if I forgot to show you, baby, but I'm going to try to. Maybe I'll show you here on the picture. But Biadasz would check the A gap first. He went in there, blocked in a passing play, kind of a.
I remember this when we talked about it earlier.
Yeah, it was a play action. So he kind of fake. He didn't fake. He guarded the A gap, and then he kind of did a circular loop around, he turned his whole body around to cover the backside of Dak, which is the tight end kind of chip blocks, goes out, and Biadasz comes back and basically plays tackle on this play by pulling back and looping back around into a circle behind him and covering Dak's backside. That is how they're helping some of these interesting, offensive line combinations and kind of strategies, like you say, and schemes of blocking through Mike Soliari. And I do think Brian Schottenheimer's involved in this as well, who's a run-heavy kind of guy. So I like the way that they're manipulating the offensive line. I like the little tweaks we're seeing from Mike Soliari and maybe a little bit of guidance and also input from, Brian Schottenheimer. So I love it, by the way. And, Tyler Biadasz confirmed this today that, he has to first confirm that there's no A-gap, help needed before spinning back to secure the backside edge. And, he kind of said this, and again, he said it's a responsibility he knew he had pre-snap based on the personnel matchups on the Giants. Mm-hmm. And once he made sure and sealed the A-gap, he was able to peel off, spin around, and pick up the tight end, which was Ferguson, pick up Ferguson's guy so he can seal the backside for Dak Prescott to throw that ball. So it was a great design play. A lot of things going on.
Yeah.
But good, smart IQ, right? Football IQ, offensive IQ. I said this yesterday. Cowboys still, exhibiting this. And Biadasz, I know some people are hard on Biadasz, but I am a fan of Tyler Biadasz. I think he's doing a great job out there. And the thing about him, he gets better every year. Even if it's a trickle better, he's still getting better every year. Got to give him credit. Got to give Tyler Biadasz. It's tough to be a center with good communication with the quarterback and with the offensive lineman. It takes years. He's here, right? He's a Pro Bowler last year, and he's getting better this year. Won't never be Frederick, let's say, but he's up there. He's definitely done a lot better than I think most of us thought. Now, defensively, I'm going to get to that. But, baby, you still have some offensive players to talk about here, like CeeDee Lamb, I think, yeah? And
yes.
Before we get to the defense. So, baby, we got Brandon James Shea in the house. By the way, he is our stream boss currently with a $2.73 holler. What did the man say?
He said, I will buy Dak Prescott Micah Parsons jersey.
I think Dak has one already. It's signed as well from Micah himself.
Yeah,
so
hey, Dak's all geared up and ready to go. So, Brandon, if you want it for your own collection, then, knock yourself out, man.
See, you get one there, yeah. Hey, much love, Brandon. And, hey, guess where he's at, baby? 100 points on the stream boss. He's making sure he's locking that up. So, again, much love to him. Everybody in the house as well. Hitting that like, hitting subscribe, hitting the notification bell. What else was said, baby, by some of our offensive weapons? I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think CeeDee Lamb might have had a couple things to say today. What was the offensive discourse out there?
So, CeeDee Lamb was kind of asked, what makes Jets cornerback Sauce Gardner, so good in CeeDee Lamb's perspective, right? CeeDee Lamb said, quote, his height is a disadvantage for a lot of receivers under 6 feet tall. For the ones that are 6 feet, he does a great job and can perform well. His technique, he knows his leverage, he's very smart. He's not your average DB.
No, that's for sure. He's definitely special, Sauce Gardner. We'll talk more about him tonight.
CeeDee Lamb, after seeing the Cowboys defense, just absolutely demolish another team, CeeDee Lamb did say, I told y'all that's all I was thinking. They always talk to me about how many sacks they had at practice, but I always tell them how open I am on the back end. So, honestly, I love that. That's funny as hell. So, CeeDee Lamb's a little jokester. So, and then CeeDee Lamb just had one last little thing to say here about his teammate Stephon Gilmore, actually. Saying, I just made a comment today. He's probably the smartest DB that I've ever had lined up against. I got 1 yard down the field off a release. He knows. He's kind of eliminating routes in his head. You beat him, you got it. I don't know if you can do it twice.
Yeah, it's funny because we actually heard in training camp how Stephon Gilmore was giving different tips and tricks to CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup and others out there about how to run their routes and Tolbert and how to do different things, So, damn, they seen this in the moment. Gilmore's not only helping the defensive young guys, he's also helping the receivers that are young on the other side of the ball. Interesting. So what else? Any more offensive comments from our team today?
No, I had already told you that was going to be the last
offensive
little
side
blurb
of thing.
there.
Well, I'm sorry.
From offensively, yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to just switch over here because we still got a little more to go. But, we're about an hour, 15 minutes into this thing, and I'm trying to keep the time up here, guys. Much love for the people dropping the love and subscribing and hitting that notification bell for that, and also that thumbs up. Let's talk about some defense, and I'm talking about Jonathan Hankins. Now, he is so important, guys, and the reason he's I know we talked about offense yesterday, the Jets' offense versus our defense, but Jonathan Hankins is going to be extremely important to stop and slow down their running game. Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall. If you want to know more about them, we talked about them yesterday. But here's the thing, guys. Jonathan Hankins is looking quicker than he has in the past. With his size still maintained around the same level, he looks quicker. I'm talking about in the offseason. Not just in this game. This offseason, he's looked a lot better. His lateral speed has been different than in the past. So what do you think about this kind of mindset? I think Patrick Walker mentioned it. A full offseason with the Cowboys now. Not just in the middle of the season. A full offseason working out with the Cowboys and in this defensive scheme. Seems like not taking, I don't know about taking years off of him, but he seems to be a little younger, a little sprier, a little quicker. And you know what? In this game against the Giants, you remember that loss of yardage a couple of times? I mean, Mr. Jonathan Hankins was pushing the whole pile back. He fights through double teams in this last game. He got held multiple times. He splits double teams, and he makes that play. He split the double team and make a tackle on Saquon Barkley. So Jonathan Hankins was big against the Giants, slowing down Saquon Barkley. He's going to be even bigger in this game, trying to slow down Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall against the Jets. The Cowboys' success this year on defense, the under-the-radar kind of X factor, is Jonathan Hankins, guys. We stopped the run, we won. We stopped the run, we're number one. And that might be the most important play on our team. Mozzie Smith is definitely not ready to do what Jonathan Hankins can do consistently. Keep that in mind. That takes another year for Mozzie to get there. Even the best guys, other than Aaron Donald, takes an extra year. Jonathan Hankins took him an extra year before he got to this kind of level of where Jonathan Hankins is currently at. So keep all that in mind. But Jonathan Hankins must stay healthy for the defense to get, to be able to attack. Stop the run and then attack. So Jonathan Hankins, very important in this specific game as well against the Jets. Slow down and try to help stop that running game. Whether he makes the play or the linebackers are making the tackles because he's occupying double teams, very much a key. Now, as far as the pass rush for the Cowboys, in Week 1 against the Giants, the Cowboys defense generated pressure on 23 out of 37 total dropbacks for the Giants quarterbacks, and of course there was two of them that played out there. It was 62.2% of the time the quarterback was pressured. I mean, this is the fourth highest pressure rate in a game since 2019. 8 different Cowboy players generated multiple pressures. Dante Fowler, Oso Digizua also tied the lead tied for the lead with 6 each when it comes to pressures. I know Micah had some as well in there. So again, the first half of Sunday night's game with the Cowboys, the first half, Micah Parsons had 4 pressures and a sack on 18 pass rushes, and all of them were double teamed. About half of those were double teamed. So at the time, at halftime, out of 18 pass rushes, 9 of them he was double teamed. And out of those double teams, he had 4 pressures and a sack. That was all early in the game. Just a wrecking ball of Micah Parsons. All 4 sacks came in the first half, and Parsons was being double teamed, by the way, by the team. Not just Micah sacked, but the other 3 came when Micah was being double teamed, still applying pressure consistently, even getting double teamed. He's a Aaron Donald linebacker / edge rusher type guy. So he kind of brings it every play. Now, how do you slow down Micah Parsons? I know that they spoke about, before Micah spoke today, let's talk about what the Jets are going to try to do to try to slow down Micah Parsons on offense. All right, because the Jets offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, he had his little 2 cents on that. Maybe you have his comments and his quotes. What did he say? What did Zach Wilson say about Micah Parsons? What did Dalvin Cook say about what makes him so good? This is all about Micah Parsons. What did the Jets say? Maybe starting with offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett. What did he say about Micah Parsons?
He said, "You can't slow him down now. You watch the tape and talk about a guy that jumps off. Seeing him grow as a player, they have done an outstanding job with him. He's done an outstanding job himself. He's somebody that can totally wreck a game, so everybody has to know where he is at all times." So
that's one way they're going to slow him down. Just know where he is. And look, you see him all in this video from this game against the Giants. He's all over the place. He's left side, right side, middle, all over. They got to identify where he's at all times. It's very difficult, and that's going to make things difficult for them to block our other 3 pass rushers. Simple as that. We're not blitzing here too often. We're sending 4 and getting shitloads of pressure. Sacks, hits, and on and on and on.
Yeah. So, even Zach Wilson had to chime in and share his 2 cents on Micah Parsons because Micah Parsons is kind of hard to forget about, right? Zach Wilson's probably dreaming of Micah.
I think they're called nightmares.
But Zach Wilson said he's a stud, man. This defense in general is going to be a good challenge for us as an offense. Obviously a good front, a good linebacker core, and some good secondary players as well, so I'm excited.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be a good challenge.
Hell yeah, it is. It's going to be a great challenge. I can't wait. And, Dalvin Cook, who's played us a bunch of times with the Vikings, he's, of course, he's a Jets running back. What did he say about Micah Parsons?
He said he's a freak. He's a freak. You don't get too many guys that are a linebacker, built like a D-end, that can rush the passer and run around like a true linebacker. He's an animal, man. He's a dog. I respect his game. I respect what he brings to the field. I look forward to it being a battle on Sunday.
I
yeah.
concur. It's going to be a battle, all right. You're going to see it a battle. I know Micah spoke, baby. So why don't you bring it on? Let me know what he said today. But before we do that, let me give you a big shout out here from the man who's just taking over here. The huge takeover in the Cash App and on the overall leaderboard, David S. with a $14 holler. And he added this today. Other than Go Cowboys, he said, Hurts doesn't go through any progressions. You noticed, right, David? Exactly. He doesn't go through many progressions, Jalen Hurts. It's like, to me, it's like the 2 reads and then he's off. He's breaking the pocket. He's running. Similar to what you're seeing with with Mike McCarthy and in Dak Prescott and this offense we got. It's the skill set. That's smart. If that's what he does best, they should lean on that. But again, remember, someone who runs the ball as often as he does, Jalen Hurts, is risking injury one day. And, that's one thing we don't want to see from Dak all the time, but we want to see him do the safe runs for Dak occasionally. We also want to see Dak get the ball out of his hands fast. Quick reads, and then dump it down and break the pocket. Much love, Steve S. with a $14 holler there, a Marquise Bell, by the way. And again, in the lead on the overall board, in the lead on the Cash App board. It's a little mini takeover from David S. So let's keep watching the video here of Micah. And what did Micah say today here after practice?
So Micah Parsons, of course, kicked things off with the same disappointment that Dak Prescott expressed by saying, quote, "I really did want to play Aaron. I know how great he is. I loved the matchup last year. It left a bitter taste. And people always talk about how Rodgers dominates Dallas when he plays in Dallas. It would have been nice to break that curse, but I hope he gets healthy, and I hope he comes back next year." So.
Well, we'll have to meet him next year if he does come back. I don't know if we can play him next year, though, if he stays in New York, the Jets.
One problem at a time, right? So, right now, Mike Parsons said, honestly, if you watch the game, I don't expect anything different. They got 2 great running backs. They've got Garrett Wilson, who's a great receiver, and I don't think Zack's bad either. So, I think he's still learning and developing. They say it's his team, so I got to go look at the tape of last year, and I get a good gist of how he feels in the pocket and what he likes to do.
Interesting. He's studying.
So, and of course, even Dak said earlier that he felt sorry for Daniel Jones because he's like, yeah, that guy's going down and he's going down hard. But Micah Parsons has no pity. He said, just ask Daniel Jones. It's always fun because in reality, they really do have a great defense. And you look in terms of who they are. They have a very similar team and a very similar situation. I don't knock their defense. I even talked to Cooper, Rush, and Dak like, man, you've got your hands full. I know this type of team is a really good defense.
Yeah, so he's even admitting that, the Jets, very, very good defense, dangerous defense. Got to keep it. Got to be, again, there's more reason for Mike McCarthy to call the right game. Not to force Dak to throw things in a double and triple teams like Kellen Moore did last year. I think we'll see that from McCarthy and from Dak. Not throwing in a double and triple team. Safe game. Let the defense win this thing once again. And offense just help a little bit.
So, but real quick, Micah Parsons said, you love it? Because now it's a battle of the defense. And usually people are like, oh, who's going to score the most? But nah. It's about who's going to keep the least amount of points. And those are the types of games that we love.
Again, I think Micah and his defense, I kind of feel like I would love to see it too. We did it in our flag football. We allowed no touchdowns. I'm not saying the Cowboys are going to do that, but that's the goal every week. No touchdowns. We actually had we allowed 6 first downs in an entire flag football season, 15 games. Our defense was the pride of our team. That's what we won every game with that. We missed half our team one week because the kids were all sick or something. We still won because we allowed 0 points. See? So that's what this defense also here for the Cowboys is priding itself, again, at the most professional elite levels with maybe the most professional elite defense we've seen in a long time. So, like Micah said the other day, Super Bowl here would come. If we keep growing and evolving from this defense, the Super Bowl is in our path. Put it that way.
So, and the final kind of little specific thing that Micah said on this was just like, oh, you love it because now it's a battle of defense. Usually people are like, oh, who's going to score the most? But nah. It's about who's going to keep the least amount of points. And those are the types of games that we love.
Micah's spitting the truth right there.
Now, we all know what happens when you're repping that Micah Parsons jersey and you're out there on the field, right? Teams are going to take notice. They're going to double team you. Micah said you always love the double team. People talk trash like, yeah, you would not be doing nothing. But I would say it's the ultimate term of respect. If you feel like you've got to do more for me than anybody else, you just respect me more. I just take it as that.
He says, bring it on. It just shows the sign of respect. I've seen teams just purposely hit him 2-3 times on the same play just to weaken him and wear him down. That's that's kind of shitty, but also ultimate sign of respect. Let's be real.
So, by the way, Micah Parsons, the final kind of little blurb here I have for him. You guys have seen him all offseason. He's been boxing, right? So he said that there's a reason he specifically chose boxing, not just because he obviously likes it and enjoys it, right? He said, yeah, it's crucial. Learning how to be attacked under pressure, knowing these guys are going to hit you from all different types of ways, maybe up high, down low, just being prepared for it. It's the same thing as sparring. So it's something I'm pretty much used to at this point, and I still actively work on.
So his hands, the quick hands he's using out there, getting shoved and pushed, that's part of the boxing mindset that he's using towards the football side of things. Fantastic there. Is that everything he said today? He definitely gave us a lot of insight there for Micah Parsons. Is that all he said today for Micah?
Yes.
Now, I did want to say the pass rush, you know what that gives us? It makes it really easy for our coverage guys to do their job, like Trayvon Diggs. And also, if you want to look among cornerbacks, minimum 3 targets. Week 1, so far that's the whole season. When it comes to the lowest passer ratings allowed by defensive backs, cornerbacks, this year so far, 1 week. Shavarius Ward, by the way, a former Cowboy, number 1 in the league from the Niners, 5.6 was the passer rating when they attacked him. Marshawn Lattimore from the Saints, 6.9 is the passer rating. I mean, you don't want to go at either of these guys, but you know who the next 2 guys were? Stephon Gilmore only allowing a 12.5 passer rating. And then 4th on this list, Deron Bland, number 26. Yes. So this defensive pass rush, by the way, Deron Bland, 25 passer rating when he was targeted. That's the 4th best in the league. I'm just saying, this is we might not be number 1, but we're 3rd and 4th right now. I'd rather have the top 2 out of the 4 than the top 1. Just saying. And so Micah Parsons and the rest of this defensive front is the reason why it really helps our cornerbacks. I know Gilmore had something to say. A quick little blurb from Mr. Gilmore today. And then I'm going to talk about some of the switches I think you're seeing from the Cowboy defensive kind of schemes that we're going to use against the Jets. After this, we're going to kind of move on from the defense of our side of things and move towards our offense versus the Jets' powerful defense.
Yeah, I just have one little note here from Stephon Gilmore. He said this about Zach Wilson. He's kind of got a similar, not style, but he plays like Aaron Rodgers a little bit. Quick release. We don't have much film on him. It's only week 1.
Yeah, we have film on him.
It's only week 1, but unexpectedly, Zach Wilson now playing week 1 type of situation. But
you got to remember too, though, Zach Wilson has a lot of film from the past. Now it is from the past, but he has some tendencies to still show up. So the Cowboys can get a good. I think we have enough information on him, especially this one game. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, we have less film on him with the Jets than we do of Zach Wilson. Let's think of it like that. So there's actually more film on Zach Wilson than Aaron Rodgers, right? So anyways, when I look at the way our defensive backs play with the pass rush we just went through, guys, and you heard Stephon Gilmore speak his mind on things when it comes to Zach Wilson, the Cowboys defense showed a lot of versatility against the Giants, the other New York team we played earlier this week. We had a lot of versatility within the scheme. A lot of safeties on our roster. We have 6 safeties. Don't forget guys like Marquise Bell, Israel Mukuamu, and Wanye Thomas. These are our 3 backups to our starting Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, and Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, and Jaron Kearse. So the way the Cowboys use a lot of these packages, listen to this, guys. We use a lot of, I don't say a lot, but we use some 3-4 defense, which might be like, what? What are we doing? Well, it's because we used 3 interior guys to really kind of stop the run. And we used our outside linebackers, which would be the 4 line. We have 4 linebackers, but those linebackers were like Micah Parsons and Dante Fowler. You know what I'm saying? Or Micah Parsons and Dorrance Armstrong. You guys feel me? Sam Fowler and DeMarcus Lawrence. Those were our quote unquote linebackers. It was really a 5-man front we were using a lot. The Cowboys went with, it's called big base. So you got 3-4, but you're moving those linebackers up. So you have 5 men on the line of scrimmage. And the Cowboys really, the Cowboys usually run the base 4-3. 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers. You got to blitz a guy if you want to bring that 5th guy on the line, which, again, we usually do go with 5 defensive backs. So that's really a 4-man base with a 2 linebacker situation, not 3. So it's really a 4-2-5 is what we run. The Cowboys, we ran a lot of 3-4 package, but the 4 down lineman mechanics. Still with only bringing 4, but bringing a 5-man front. So, again, we also did stuff like with the interior. We would use Jaron Kearse or Micah Parsons on the inside a lot. We did do this. And Kearse would run deep sometimes, show up in the interior defensive line, jump back, or vice versa. Start back and then come down and get in there through the interior defensive line. So you got to love what Dan Quinn is cooking right now. When you look at this is the movement of the way we use our scheme by Dan Quinn. Let me throw Dan Quinn up on this board here because he just deserves all the credit for this and utilizing our players and our defensive guys. But Dan Quinn, using this big base, using the safety fluctuation and versatility of a Jaron Kearse, which is fantastic. And again, when you look at the coverage pieces that the Cowboys throwing up there, Micah Parsons in the mix here, guys. The Cowboys moved Micah Parsons, I said here already a little earlier, all around that defensive line for the Giants. You just heard them, the Jets players are trying to identify wherever Micah's going to be. That's the biggest thing, tracking him. Beautiful. I want to see teams have to be forced to track him. because that moves the assignments on the offensive line, and sometimes those offensive line guys, they get a little nervous and they get a little mixed up, and then they miss picking up something when you got Micah going here, there, and everywhere. So again, moving them all over the offensive, the trenches is great for the Cowboys to do. The Cowboys, by doing this to the Giants, they couldn't handle him that way. They couldn't track him and really target him. Moving also DeMarcus Lawrence around, and LVE, being worked on as an edge only makes those looks better the Cowboys can give. So basically what this is about Dan Quinn, he gives simple coverages, but he gives them in multiple looks. So there's always that disguise factor. We're coming, guys. So the Jets now, as we're breaking this thing in here, I'm going to leave Dan Quinn up on the board. He deserves it. The Jets, they have some injuries, right? The injury report for them came out. Dwayne Brown, Mekhi Becton, and Breece Hall. Again, Mekhi Becton, offensive tackle. Dwayne Brown, offensive tackle. Dwayne Brown is an older guy. He's got a shoulder injury, but he was limited second day in practice today, 2 days in a row like that. Mekhi Becton, they're probably their best offensive lineman. He's on the other side, the other tackle with a knee issue. Also limited yesterday and today. And Breece Hall, their running back, their starting running back, with Dalvin Cook's their technical backup. Breece Hall, running back, number 20, he's got a knee issue as well, but he's limited both days. All three guys should play. They're fully healthy, other than Aaron Rodgers, of course, who's out for the year. And on IR today, he had his surgery, and he showed pictures of his, of the post-surgery stuff. So good luck to him. We get Zach Wilson. So just so you guys know, a quarterback, the Jets expressed interest right now to sign Rams quarterback Brett Ripken. Yeah, he used to play with the Denver Broncos, and that's the guy that what's his name? What's the rhyme? I forgot his name. The offensive lineman I was thinking about picking up for us from Denver, Reisner. He freaking went at him and threw Brett Ripken to the ground over there when they were both together on the Denver Broncos. Now, I will say this: he played under Jets offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett in Denver. Like I said last year, Brett Ripken might be getting picked up by the Jets, but it'll be after our game. It won't affect our game at all. But he also, again, knowing that he had been, he was almost going to be signed by the Jets, he actually opted to stay with the Rams, and he joined their active roster. Rams put him on their active roster, and they placed Stetson Bennett on that reserve NFI list. So he's gone now. Their backup quarterback. They moved this quarterback the Jets wanted onto their active roster, so they will not be getting Brett Ripken anymore, and he'll not be reunited with Nathaniel Hackett, who had him there in Denver. So that's the update for the Jets. Off injuries. Other than Aaron Rodgers, they got really none. When you look at the stat comparison, guys, points per game this year, 40 for us on offense. The Jets, they allow 16. Now, Jets scored 22 on offense. We allow 0, of course. Rushing yards per game, on offense, we're pulling 122 yards per game. They're allowing 97, pretty stout. The Jets run for 172 yards against the Bills in offense. On rushing yards, the Cowboys allowed 108. So we'll see what breaks there. We got to slow that down. Passing yards for the Cowboys, only 143 as we know. They allowed 217 over there with the Bills. And we'll see. This is one game numbers, right? So passing defense for them, passing offense, they only would put up, guys, through the air, 117 yards. They'd be stupid to throw a lot. Running for 172, the Jets going to want, they're not going to want to try to match the 117 yards in the air. The Cowboys, we only allowed 63 passing yards. I expect that 117 to be in the double digits down there. Under 100 yards passing, I think we got to stop that run. Turnover differential, both teams are +3. So the Jets get their turnovers as well. All 3 from the same guy. Hopefully that won't happen this game. He got 3 interceptions. And, we got it from all over the field. We could have had possibly 6 or 7 turnovers. But when it comes to total yards, defensively given up, Cowboys only allow 171 total yards. The Jets allowed 314 total yards. So even though they have good defense, they ain't got our defense. You guys feel me on this? You guys understand? That's this guy right here repping it, Mr. Dan Quinn. So Dan Quinn showing out here. Let's talk special teams real quick here. A real quick comparison on things on special teams as we're moving on to the breakdown here. We never really talk about special. We talk about special teams mixed in with the defense. We did it last week. We're doing it again. The Jets have a name and a face that we know at kicker. Greg the Leg Zuerlein. I'll talk about him in a minute because the man, Mark Hovsepian, dropping that 5 on it, said Zach Wilson sucks as quarterback. They will be running and and we will stuff the box. We have the best cornerbacks in the NFL. There will be so many 3-and-outs. Great New York defense. New York Jets defense will tire. Mark, eye to eye with all MCF. Hell yeah, Mark. You know what's coming. Agreed 1,000%. Again, he sucks. He's mobile. You got to keep him in the pocket. Can't let him extend the time too much. We got the top corners in the league. I think we're the best cornerbacks. Fuck the best defensive backs in the league. All 6 defensive backs. 5 or 6, we got it. Safeties, corners, with the pressure. You throw, you're done. So I don't even think they're going to throw that much, Mark. I think it's all about the run. If they run and we can't stop it, it'll look like the Eagles and what the Eagles did tonight to the Vikings. They just run all game. We cannot allow that. So as long as we stop the run, their defense will tire out eventually. As long as we don't push and try to do something. We don't want to see high-flying offense. We don't want to see, bombs every play. You saw what happens when Josh Allen went and tried to do that. Pick. So, again, smart play, smart game plan. It's not on Dak. It's not on the offensive line. It's not on the receivers. It's on Mike McCarthy. McCarthy got to give us that same game plan like last week or whatever works for this upcoming opponent, and we shall win. Much love, Mark Hovsepian. Trickling closer to the top spot. Just closer and closer to David S. at the top spot. Right now, Mark in second place. Now, we also got to talk about our special teams versus their special teams. The Jets, they have former Cowboy kicker Greg Zuerlein, who made all of his 4 kicks against Buffalo. Last year, he finished 25th out of all the starting kickers in the NFL in field goal accuracy. But overall, guys, he's actually had a pretty strong preseason and a strong game 1. So maybe Greg the Leg has found himself again. We'll see. The last freaking handful of years, every time there's a kicker that can be the best of the worst or off the street, they make them on us every time. So maybe Greg the Leg, who makes them right now, he's making a lot. Maybe he'll find an accuracy once again. Also, the Jets have Thomas Morstead. Right now, he's pretty decent, but he's still only averaging 26th in average punt yards. The only thing he beat Brian Anger about, our punter, was that he had a longer hang time than Brian Anger. And of course, we know our guys already on our team. Turpin with the returns, Anger with the punts, Aubrey with the field goals and extra points and kickoffs. But when I said punt returner, it's Cavante Turpin. Xavier Gibson is their guy, and we all know who he is right now. If you didn't see him on Hard Knocks, you saw him on Monday Night Football. Again, undrafted rookie. Can he do it again? I don't think so. We have Bones locking things down, I think, on coverage pretty well. We'll see how he can use that. He used that 60 speed to win that 65-yard punt return in the win against the Bills in overtime. So we shall see what happens. He has a 33-yard average on only 2 returns, and that leads the NFL. So that's going to go down this week. It should. And, right now, I think that, Brandon Aubrey, right? If you guys follow his kickoffs, I do. He's 8 for 8 right now in kicking that ball out of the end zone. So we shouldn't see any returns at all. As long as he keeps knocking them out that way, Xavier Gibson won't get any returns in the kickoff game. And then it's all about Anger and the punt coverage to keep him at bay. That's special teams for the day, guys. Now let's look at defense, their defense versus our Texas Coast offense. Let me just run down some names you're going to hear on Sunday on the New York Jets defensive line. They are Carl Lawson at the edge and John Franklin Myers. These are their edge guys. Interior, they're solid. They have Quentin Jefferson, but more importantly, they have Quinnen Williams. That's their big star guy. We'll talk about him a little bit more. They also have backups like Al Woods, nice inside old guy there, but nice interior, guy to back up and spell Quinnen Williams at times. Solomon Thomas, Jermaine Johnson. Where's Mark Hovsepian? Jermaine Johnson, he's the guy from Last Chance U. He's the guy that we were thinking about taking. We took Tyler Smith instead. Still a backup there behind Carl Lawson. And then they got Michael Clemens as well on their defensive line. Those are their main 8 guys in the rotation. Linebackers, I will say, not bad when it comes to C.J. Mosley. Good, solid linebacker. And, Jamian Sherwood and Quincy Williams. Specifically, Quincy Williams, got to watch him and C.J. Mosley probably. They'll be the guys out there doing most of the linebacker work. Zaire Barnes and Chaz Surratt are the backups. Now, we talk about the defensive backs. They were the ones that were ranked number one in the NFL before the season started, with the Dolphins 2 and us 3. So who do they got back there? Well, a nickel cornerback. Michael Carter II, very solid nickel cornerback. They got Sauce Gardner at corner. He's their number one. And DJ Reed is very good as well as their number 2 corner. Bryce Hall and Justin Hardy are some of their backups there on the cornerback side of things. The safeties, Jordan Whitehead, who leads the NFL, 3 interceptions, had a really great start to this season. Tony Adams, also solid safety out there. Ashton Davis, Adrian Amos. We know Amos from the Bears and Packers. That's their defense, and it's pretty goddamn solid. I'm going to be honest about this. Pretty solid for their defense with the Jets, just name-wise. Now, let's break it down a little closer. Let's get a little bit slower here in breaking this thing down. And let me pop up, the kind of the defensive main players you guys want to keep your eyes on. All right? Now, hopefully, they'll be coming down to a crash, these Jets. But, in the meantime, let's break this down. When it comes to their best players at every level here. Number 95, Quinnen Williams. Another week, another tough challenge for the Cowboys' interior defensive line. The Giants, so solid, guys. Quinnen Williams, and throw in there Jermaine Johnson, the guy we talked about, maybe the Cowboys drafting in front of Tyler Smith. They present a similar challenge to what Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams with the Giants provided a challenge this last week. Again on Sunday night. So, again, climbing to the second level is not an easy task against this Jets defense, like it was difficult against the Giants defense. So running that ball, it's going to be tough. They have a very good run defense. And Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson, Quinton Jefferson, Al Woods, these guys are solid inside. They will stop the run. It's hard to go into that combo dual blocking. If I was the Cowboy, I'd run behind Zack Martin. He should be playing. Zack Martin and Terrence Steele. So keep that in mind when it comes to this defensive line, the trenches for the Jets. Tyler Biadasz, probably Chume Doga or Tyler Smith, and Zack Martin. They're gonna have to do another good job like they did last week, keeping things pretty clean for Dak Prescott against a very stiff interior challenge last week against the Giants. Their best defensive part of their team was their defensive line, but now you got really a true standout defensive lineman in this one here in Quinnen Williams. As he enters AT&T Stadium, you got to keep an eye out for him, guys. He had a solid game against the Bills. He had 5 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 fumble recovery. Now, defensively, the Jets bring a lot of strength onto this defensive line, athleticism. They bring that to the second level. You try to attack them, they will bring that football IQ as well into the secondary. So starting up front, Quinnen Williams, we all know he is. Brute strength in the interior. It's going to cause a lot of double teams forced and late releases to the second level. So he causes mass disruption. He did that against the Bills, and kind of misguided handoffs and put Josh Allen, kind of forced him out of the pocket because he pushed up front. Dak's got to be ready for that push up the middle from Quinnen Williams. Now, we do have better linemen than the Bills, in my opinion. Where's Mark Hovsepian? The Bills were struggling out there with Osiris Torrance. He was playing I think, left guard or right guard, but he was out there struggling. So I got to say he's having some tough times out there, although he did win the starting position, right? We saw John Michael Schmitz, the center, struggling for the Giants as a rookie, right? Another lineman that we liked in the second round. So, again, you're seeing a lot of these young guys struggling big time when it comes to some names we talked about, maybe the Cowboys going after. We have Luke Schoonmaker. We got to see still what he's going to bring to the table. Anyways, back to the Jets. Quinnen Williams is causing disruption. With Zack Martin, though, I think it's going to be a very good battle, and I think Zack Martin is the best, in my opinion, in the NFL, especially interior. Quinnen Williams is going to definitely met his match, I think, today. And again, this Sunday game, even though he still will win more than, let's say, Leonard Williams did, Dexter Lawrence did. So, as far as pass rushing on the defensive line, of course, led by Quinnen Williams, I told him they push inside. They had 5 sacks against Josh Allen, always putting him in trouble and under pressure and duress. Quinnen Williams, one of the top defensive tackles, really a nose tackle. It puts a great push, guys. One of the top defensive tackles in the league. Last year, he got 13 sacks. You don't hear that from the inside unless you're Aaron Donald. So Quinnen Williams has that DNA. Second most at his position last year, by the way, 13 sacks. The edge defenders, I think, even though they're solid, we can get there against their edge. Carl Lawson, who's solid. John Franklin Myers, good, but they're not huge names at the edge. But they do enough to create a healthy amount of pass rush pressure. So you got to be, you can kind of get through it, but you got to still kind of keep an eye out without that edge. Both of those guys coming in at the defensive end. So again, behind those guys, I think you're going to see some Jermaine Johnson. Like I told you guys, the guy from Last Chance U. and Will McDonald. Remember, the rookie. These guys both recorded sacks against the Bills. These two young guys, these two rookies, or a rookie and second-year guy. So, again, you even throw in there Texas A&M rookie Michael Clemens recorded a forced fumble against Josh Allen late in the game off a bad snap, and he fumbled it a second time. The Jets recovered it to basically give him a chance to win the game. They took the lead by 3 and they went in overtime, but still, you got to keep an eye on guys like Carl Lawson on the practice report. He's been banged up, so keep an eye on him. He was out week 1 with a leg injury. Supposedly he's ready to play this week. Again, like I said, they all seem healthy, all the Jets. So we got to be ready for that defensive line. They will be coming, and they will have an extra guy on that defensive line to help them out this week. Carl Lawson held out last game because of an achy back. Also avoided a short week of recovery, which means he guarantees, pretty much guaranteed, to be shot out of the cannon going after Dak Prescott in this game. We got to make sure we shut down Carl Lawson. He was disruptive in the other places he played at in his career. The Cowboys, as far as the Dak Prescott side of getting sacked, didn't have any sacks on Dak against the Giants. Dak was sacked only 20 times last year. So this, even though we don't have the best pass protection offensive line last year, still one of the best at not taking sacks. That was some of it had to do with some guys named Tyler Smith, and Zack Martin, but it had a lot to do with Dak Prescott getting out of those sacks and getting the ball out. Even in Kellen Moore's shitty fucking long-ass offense, I think this year you get even less chance to get sacks on Dak because of the quick passing. We'll see what happens. But anyways, Carl Lawson, Quinton Williams, John Franklin Myers, Quentin Jefferson. He's a team leader, by the way, with 2 sacks on this defense. This whole rush will do a great service for the Jets defense. And again, to me, had a very relaxed, limited offensive kind of scheme. We didn't roll it all out against the Giants. We only got 265 yards of offense and a couple of half-field defensive turnover, short field touchdowns for the Cowboys. If Carl Lawson does generate any kind of pushback against Tyron Smith, then Dak's delivery down the field could be altered, and it could affect the Cowboys in a bad way. So of course, Carl Lawson, Quinton Williams, number 95. We gotta make sure we keep these guys in check. Moving to the back end here, not the back end. I'm sorry, the linebackers. You cannot forget about C.J. Mosley. You see him here, number 57. 57 ain't no joke out there, guys. He's also teamed up there with Quincy Williams. They have the freedom to flow from sideline to sideline and downhill. You know why? Because of the guys I just mentioned there. Because of the interior defensive linemen like Quentin Jefferson, Quinton Williams, John Franklin Myers, and Carl Lawson. These 4 guys make sure the linebackers stay clean. And I mean clean to a point where it's really detrimental to the run game for teams. So we got to make sure we can somehow get to the second level with the blocking from our offensive linemen. Both these guys, C.J. Mosley, number 57, Quincy Williams, they have the freedom to go sideline to sideline with no hesitation because of that defensive line. This duo provides a fantastic safety net in the run game to corral any guys that break through that defensive line. Tony Pollard, Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, whoever, Hunter Lipke. If they get through there, the linebackers will meet them quickly. It reminds me of the Tampa Bay linebacking core that they had because of the good defensive line. They could fly and do whatever they wanted to with little hesitation. So they can also not just stop the run, but also disrupt tight ends on the receiving side, and the receiving game, the passing side of things. We'll see what happens, guys. The one thing you can attack, though, the linebackers, Mosley and Quincy Williams, is maybe teaming up and kind of trying to catch Sauce Gardner, believe it or not, in coverage with these linebackers. When they're going up against a receiver, C.J. Mosley will suffer a little bit there. Will lose some space and some separation. So will Quincy Williams when there's some routes that cross over the middle. So we shall see. That test will be brought to full effect by these guys. Now, as far as shutting the run down, Quincy Williams, Quinton Williams. By the way, Quincy Williams at linebacker is the brother of Quinton Williams. So they're a lot of the same DNA on this Jets team, but. Both these guys are instrumental in stopping the run. And we already talked about Quinton Williams in the pass rush and stopping the run, but he also takes on blockers, and that's how he helps the run game as well. So, C.J. Mosley has been a tackling machine. Quincy Williams, the brother of Quinton Williams, very good in pursuit. He went from Jacksonville in 2021. He was drafted by them, came over to the Jets. He can blitz I'm saying he came there in 2021. He can blitz from the inside. He does well against the run. So he's a more mobile kind of guy. Quincy Williams. And C.J. Mosley is more just a tackling machine. So keep that in mind, guys. The Jets felt very strongly on Quincy Williams. They offered him a new contract. So they're keeping both, both Q Williams brothers together on this team. Now, the back end, the final part of this Jets team here, we got to kind of break down. Very equally talented back end, defensive back room. The right cornerback, DJ Reed, last week allowed 7 catches on him, guys, off 10 targets. So DJ Reed, solid guy, but had a bad week. A guy we can pick on this weekend at the right cornerback spot. And I hope we get Brandon Cooks, but we can still pick on DJ Reed, who had gave up a lot of ground last week. 7 receptions on 10 targets, but he does lead the team with 11 tackles. And he is very good at run support. So, again, DJ Reed, not the best coverage guy, but very good at run support and helping tackle, running backs. It reminds me of, when we use anybody on our safety staff to go in there and cover the tight ends or go in the box like J-Ron Kurtz, Donovan Wilson, those guys. So we'll see what happens. It reminds me of a Donovan Wilson type guy there. Now, you got to also, of course, everyone knows number 1, Sauce Gardner. He's their number 1 guy. He won the Defensive Rookie of the Year last year. He's an intelligent player. Physical presence. He will test the Cowboys receivers, whoever he's up against. He will test them this week. So we're going to talk more about Mr. Sauce here in a minute. But Jordan Whitehead had made 3 interceptions against Josh Allen. Talented group. Cowboys have to be extra caution. Have to take extra caution this week when battling these Jets in their secondary. Now, let's just finish off here. Really start to finish off, I guess, with the breakdown of a little more details on these guys. Number 1, Sauce Gardner, reigning defensive MVP, or Rookie of the Year, Big challenge. Even though he's going to be facing, he's a great cover guy, he's got a big challenge. CeeDee Lamb, I don't know if Brandon Cook's going to play, Gallup. Regardless who he goes up against, guys, Gardner's going to have to hone in using his speed. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the league last year in anticipating breaks and getting out ahead of the receiver for pass breakups and sneaking in there and stealing an interception. The Cowboys want to make sure that the passing attack, gets a little bit more unveiled, I guess you could say. From last week, we had to, keep everything close to the vest because of the rain, because of the lead we had. So again, if there's a way we can beat Gardner both down the field and in the short game, it's over. If we could beat Gardner in that way, it should be we should take a big lead in this. But again, you don't want to overlook this guy. He's 6'3", 200 pounds. Yeah, second year, it doesn't matter. All right. His length is unreal. Unbelievable coverage ability. This guy is so natural about it that you don't see this happening with guys that are this long with that length, 6'3", 200 pounds. Nashawn Wright, he's basically Nashawn Wright but times 10. He's a guy that more fluid with breaks, better ball skills. All right, Nashawn Wright has the same body but doesn't have any of this ability. So again, that's what you have with Sauce Gardner. And with that being said, guys, having an athletic receiver that can get out of his release quickly, I hope like someone like Brandon Cooks, if he's matched up against him, it could give him, it could mess with Sauce's coverage. Because again, we saw that happen with Stephon Diggs on Monday night, where Stephon Diggs was able to slowly chip away, and get a big night for Stephon Diggs against Sauce Gardner. So it is possible to get the yards and to make him look bad out there, as long as you keep it smart, right? And you can't go deep on Sauce Gardner. You go deep unless he's wide open. You don't want to go. If he's near, you don't throw it, because Sauce Gardner will make the pass breakups, get the interceptions. You rarely going to win downfield with Sauce Gardner. So keep it short and sweet, quick passes that fits right into the Cowboys' MO or what they need to do out there on that field. Moving over, of course, CeeDee Lamb had 4 catches, 77 yards. Brandon Cooks, 2 for 22. Not really big numbers for Brandon Cooks or any other receivers outside of CeeDee Lamb. And Cooks came out with a sore knee. So McCarthy said, Cooks has a chance to play. We'll have to wait and see. But the top shelf corners of the Jets are where we know that they have their strength. Their ball hawking safety, Jordan Whitehead, is going to help kind of keep hold it down against maybe some double team kind of, bracketed coverage by not just those cornerbacks, Sauce Gardner, or whoever else might be going up on CeeDee Lamb, but also from the safety, Jordan Whitehead. So keep an eye on that. I think he'll watch both Lamb and Cooks if Cooks is playing. Again, we'll have to make sure that he does not kind of steal a pick there from Dak. So these picks that Sauce and the defensive backs are trying to get and grab from us that they got from the Bills, try to keep it's going to be the only way they're going to really try to keep the Cowboys out of the end zone and give the Jets offense some kind of short field to work with. That's the job of the Jets defense this week. They're going to have to kind of win the game by getting short yardage, similar to us in a way, right? So we'll see which defense capitalizes the best and can make the other team make more mistakes. Really, when it comes to the safety spots, I got to touch on Jordan Whitehead with the 3 interceptions. On John, we know about that, but again, we also have Tony Adams back there, another safety back. Again, to me, you can attack this one guy where Tony Adams. If you're gonna attack, if Dak Prescott, Mike McCarthy want to attack deep on a play or 2 or 3 in this game, find Tony Adams. All right, he's the guy you can take a couple shots against. If CeeDee Lamb gets open against him downfield, especially in the slot for CeeDee Lamb, that's where you can break this defensive backfield. So keep an eye on Tony Adams, the other safety next to Jordan Whitehead. So, we're going to break this down, of course, more matchup-wise as the week continues and keys to victory and such. That means Fan Friday tomorrow and Saturday. We're going to talk about it here with you guys. But Sunday's game day, cameras on, lights on, action on. I can't wait for our Cowboys to get on with this game and hopefully go 2-0. That's what I'm expecting. I know that's what I'm expecting here. So let me hit the chat up here as we get ready to drop out of here for the night, guys. And another 2-hour, I think it's a 2-hour banger here in MCF. 2 hours and 2 minutes. Look at that, man. I somehow have like an internal clock that knows this shit. So, again, guys, truly appreciate everybody hitting that like button, hitting subscribe, hitting that notification bell, following us on Twitter at MyCowboysFamily, all social media at MyCowboysFamily, the Discord, join us there, memberships, check it out. Now, I'm going to go through the chat and definitely hit up some more comments. I also want to hit up the people that are leading things this week, guys. Sponsor of the week, the man Mark Hovsepian. Much love to him. The all-time record holder on the sponsor board, with a streak, I should say, on the sponsor board. But the man is in second place on the overall board as we speak. Much love to the man Mark Hovsepian. We also have other representation here tonight, guys, like Brandon James Shea, representing that stream boss, 95 points, almost fully loaded. Again, I also appreciate the Lunatic repping that membership gifting crown. Truly appreciate that. That's one of the biggest ways of helping the channel. Right now, this week, Ron the Don Smith is leading on that board. The overall board, though, David S. has jumped over everybody and taken over first place on this board, trying to be that sponsor of the week, trying to stop Mark from going back-to-back like our 90s Cowboys. Mark's not far, but he's still behind currently. And not only is Mr. David S. repping it there, he's also repping it as the leader on the Cash App board over many other ballers up there like Jason Renfro and Cab 52 and Gloria and Marissa Sparkle and many others. So thank you. David S. leading the overall board, leading the Cash App board, coming for it all. And we still have a, let me double check it. We still got a tie on the Cash App board last week. Skeptical Fan tied with the man you know why he's here, Snug X, for that top spot on the Cash App board. Like I said, I will be willing to break that tie for the next person who drops between these two guys. So we'll see what happens as the week continues. It seems like they're going to end up in just a hand-in-hand tie. Kind of kissing your sister kind of deal, right? Very weird statement. Anyways, guys, much love to these two and the rest of you for your love and support here on My Cowboys Family. The drops tonight, you guys brought it. Lincoln Kane, of course, and the rest of the star level memberships, the Marissa, Andy Post, Dwayne Broussard, Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, who else did I? Mary Alvarez, Marissa Sparkle, everybody. I think that's Rhonda Don Smith. I don't know if I caught her. I hope I got everybody, but I said in the beginning of the stream, much love to everybody in the star level and the over everything level. Snug X repping it there right now, the only one in that group. Tonight's drops of love from above, Skeptical Fan, John Montgomery, Jason Renfro, Mark Hovsepian, Brandon James, and David S. Can't do this without your guys' love and support. Once again, humbled, and thank you guys. So after that defensive breakdown, we finished that up. A good half hour of just power-packed about this Jets defense. Let me hear what you guys got to say. I see Asmodeus here. Appreciate you. Mr. Brandon James in the house. Go Cowboys. Rolando Rodriguez said the Eagles won because they ran the damn ball. Hurts only had 160 yards passing. Exactly. Stone Immaculate said, let's go Cowboys. Beat the Jets. Hell yeah, Stone. Jared Morrison, Hurts sucks. Agreed. David S. in the house. This year it feels different, like the 90s to me. You know, I was saying this the other day about the defense, David. That the defense feels like I remember the defense of the 90s. I only know the lore of the 70s. But this defense feels better than the 90s defense. And we had a damn good defense. We'll see. We got one game in. We got 2 years of this proof of defense. Dan Quinn, Micah. We have 2 years of this. But this year it looks something different. Something special. It feels like it. Right, David? Agreed. Different level than the rest. I agree. Thomas Garrett. That was superior, Garrett. Said both Williams brothers played at Alabama. True. Good point. Both of them are, now with the Jets. Chalked Montana in the house. Much love to you. So Dallas only lost 4 to 5 games at home since 2020. They're unstoppable. 10 games. Yeah, we only lost one. The last game we lost at AT&T Stadium has been over a year ago. It was the Tampa game that opened last year. We went 8-1 last year. This year we only have 8 games, not 9. But let's start off right and go 1-0, right? Rolando Rodriguez, the Cowboys offensive linemen are getting hurt. One game, are you worried? As I am. Chuma Edoga gives us a little more breathing space, breathing room. I think Zack Martin will be fine for this game. As long as we survive this game, one more game, I think Tyler Smith comes back and we got our full offensive line ready to rock and roll. Hopefully we get to see all 5 starting together sometime this year, sometime sooner than later. Hopefully, for sure, week 3. I guess it could happen week 2 against the Jets. We'll see, man. We'll see. I'm not as worried yet, but it definitely is. I'm always still kind of looking behind over my shoulder. You know what I mean? David said, I agree they should have lost that game. Josh Allen throwing picks like dollar bills. I know. The East has some freakish defensive tackles. That is facts. It's good. I like the practice. Keep bringing it. Let's get that up. Let's up that stuff. He said here, 2K Prince, what about Zack Martin groin injury? Yeah, it looked. Zack Martin said he's going to be, basically he's working on it. They just kept, it seems like more precautionary for Zack Martin. Great news on that side. We talked about it earlier, 2K Prince. Chalked Montana in the house. David S. in the house here. Starboy Entertainment, run the fullback. He said some Hunter Lipke he wants in there. We'll see. Maybe later in the game. Let me see here. David, and he's got Starboy, 10 sacks. Let's get him. That's from Starboy, Drums and Cowboys. And Jets not only had 3 turnovers, but they had 5 sacks. They got to be careful. You just can't play into the teeth of their defense. That's what the Bills did. They played into the teeth of the defense. We have to be smart about the way we play. We don't need 300 yards passing and 6 touchdowns on offense. We don't need that shit to win this game. If you try to do that, you may lose like the Bills did. You feel me on this? So, much love the Mark Hosepian in the house, of course. Yep, there it is. Mark Ripken's nephew, says Thomas Garrett about the other Ripken we just talked about. Tommy Montoya in the house. Snug X, he's in here somewhere. Always watching. You know why he's here. Seabass, Micah takes down Marshawn. We'll see. I think that Cowboys will be on top of everything. It's just the run game is the thing I need to see. That's all I need to see. Jason Renfro in the house. What's up? It's Mr. Snug X here with us. The love. You know why he's here. The wife had to take the early route out, but, we'll be back full force tomorrow for Fan Friday. You know how we do on Fan Friday, guys. Keys to victory, a lot of the biggest matchups to talk about. And Saturday, it's, going to be like a little open forum panel. We're going to talk about quick recaps about what we're going to see for this big game on Sunday. Parsons the war daddy, says David. Hell yeah. As Modi said, Lawrence Taylor only wish he could have been as versatile as Micah Parsons. I'm saying Micah is getting to that he's getting there. I mean, he's building to there. What's up, Traveling Fools? Hope all is as good as it can be with you, bro. Let's see, Jason Renfro here in the house. Choctaw, Montana. Frank Moyer, Starboy, Brandon James, Choctaw, Montana, Drums and Cowboys. Everybody, I think I shouted everyone out. Let me go back to the bottom and catch up the last couple of comments before we get on out of here. We got Rolando Rodriguez, Doomsday 3, seen the first 2. Go Cowboys, America's team. Good night from South Texas. Much love to you, Rolando. Appreciate you. Tommy Montoya, if our defense can stop the run, we win the game. If we stop the run, they're done. And we're number 1. Remember that. Facts to end it with here on MCF. Shouted everybody out already. Did the whole board. Appreciate everybody here with us. And as always, the wife knows this. But guys, you know why we do this each and every night here on My Cowboys Family. It's about that navy blue. That's over too. And always, that star over everything here in MCF, Navy, win, lose, or draw, we want to win. Good, bad, or ugly, we want great. We want perfection if we want it, if we could. But never forget, here in MCF, we always rep that star for everything. 6 years on this channel and beyond. 7th season and beyond, guys. Thank you for chilling with us. And never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys! Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for dropping your knowledge all night long. All night. Salute, Tommy. Much love to everybody in the house. Have a great night on the chat. Can't do this without your guys' input and your thoughts on our team. Truly appreciate the drops of love from above. We can't say how grateful we are to the best family members of all YouTube. See you all tomorrow once again as we clock out, drop out of here tonight officially, and bring it back tomorrow for Fan Friday to join us for that. Guys, as the wife and I always say, we relock and reload for another show tomorrow, Fan Friday, but before we can drop out for the night, as the wife always says, we got to drop the beat. Oh, yeah. Guys, thanks once again for rocking with us. Again, this upcoming game, talk about them clowns. Throw them jokes out there. Oh, I'm sorry. Oops, not there. Here's the jokes. I'm sorry. Throw them jokes out. Look at those Jets clowns. Down they go. That's the hope this week against us. But they got that tough defense. We talked about the offense. It's there for the picking. Let's get this win and go 2-0 and just keep driving for that beyond 5 and that's 6. You know how we do. The other green team we don't like, it's that green Philly team. They won tonight. Looked crappy. We talked about that in the beginning of the stream, guys. Leave your comments down below. Hit the like, hit subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And here, right here, thank you for joining us for another Cowboys chat. We talked about it all. Defense of the Jets. What can we do on our offense? We talked about it. How we can beat these guys. Where's their weak spots? We got questions about Brandon Cooks and Zack Martin. Stack the CD. They're ready. We shall see how we defeat this ugly-ass green team. Another ugly-ass green team. Here in MCF, it's about that beautiful navy blue, silver too. That star over everything. Never, ever forget the number one thing right here on My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone. Have a great night, guys. Stay safe. We'll see you back tomorrow for another one. Stay safe. Peace. And never, ever forget. Go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.